Well, good afternoon and welcome to Investors Group Field here in Manitoba as the 1-2 University of Manitoba Bisons take on the 0-3 Calgary Dinos. Mike Still, pleased to be joined in the booth by, to my immediate left, Tyler Fabry, to my far left, Ryan Carhide. And gentlemen, today is a very exciting day. It's homecoming here at the University of Manitoba, honoring the 1962 Manitoba Bisons team, which was the first iteration of the modern day Bisons. The team kind of took a break from university action beginning in 1948. Came back, starting with the 62 team, and back and rolling now. 8 years later, some of the players from that team formed the core of the back-to-back national championship teams for the Bisons in 69 and 70. So big thank you to all of those players that are here, all alumni that are here and watching the game. And we've got about 2,000 alumni in the building, including these two fine gentlemen who are both very accomplished in their own right. Tyler Fabry, a former Hart Cup champion, and Ryan Carr, a former Vanier Cup champion. Show him the ring quickly, Ryan. Got the bling on today, very exciting. So yeah, it's always nice. Let's talk about that quickly, guys. Talk about homecoming. And is there a little bit of extra motivation to play well in front of so many alumni?
Yeah, absolutely. Homecoming comes up in the schedule. It's obviously one of those home games you definitely don't want to lose. You never want to lose at home, but homecoming is that little bit extra for the team. And knowing that we're celebrating the team from 62 and there's about 2,000 plus alumni in the building gives the guys just a little bit more motivation to play better today.
And you get into the, routines are different, right? All of a sudden, they have the morning brunch, they have the alumni there, they have the 62 teams there, they have guest speakers, all that stuff. All the stuff that you don't get in a normal game, it all adds to the hype and to the excitement of the weekend. So it's always fun. Homecoming always has a little extra juice in it. Bigger crowds, it's a lot more fun to play in.
Absolutely. Talking about the matchup specifically, obviously Canada West always competitive, but for the Bisons and the Dinos, a must-win situation here already in week 4 of the season. Manitoba got their first victory of the season last week in the Monsoon Bowl against UBC in a game where passing was at a premium. Both teams certainly running the football quite early and quite often in that game. Manitoba with 9 pass breakups as a team. It's the third time over the last 2 seasons that they've had at least 8 pass breakups in a game. And let's just key in on the secondary for both sides quickly. That's going to be the storyline we talk about all game long here. Unfortunately, two of the worst statistically passing defenses in Canada. Calgary, no team has allowed more passing yards per game than the Dinos, 327. Manitoba, not too far behind, but they did do a good job last week containing UBC. Dinos, they definitely give up a lot of yards, but they have some stats in that back end, including Deacon Taylor Young, started as a true freshman for the team last year. This position we'll talk about a lot. But Tyler, let's start with you. What have you seen from that secondary for Calgary, and what do you think they need to do to be able to kind of negate the Bisons today offensively?
I think it's just kind of just following the game plan that their coaches have put in for them. Not to do anything outside of that. Don't try to do too much. Just do your job in the secondary, right? Don't try to cover 2 guys on one play. If you got to play the deep zone, play the deep zone. Don't overcomplicate things. I think if they settle down, they should be okay. They are very young. That is the thing with the Calgary Dinos defensive secondary. They're young. They're a little bit inexperienced. So we'll kind of see how Des takes advantage of that on the Bison side of things, see if he can open it up with a few more receivers downfield, but time will tell.
And Ryan, what are you expecting from the Bisons offensively in this game? Des Batelier is, statistically speaking, not at the tops of the conference range. He stretched just under 500 passing yards. However, this has been a team that has gotten it done. Success by committee. 11 different receivers have at least 1 catch. And Des, obviously the tried and true leader of this team. And once again, obviously the 7th-year technically quarterback. What do you hope to see from him today to kind of get the offense churning?
Yeah, I think we're going to see a lot of the same stuff that we usually see from the Bisons. A lot of RPO game. Let the defense kind of decide where they're going to go with the ball. Calgary traditionally playing a very light box. They've been doing a lot this year where they'll only have 5 defenders in the box at times, and they'll try to bring pressure from all over the field. So I expect the Bison to maybe come out a little bit early and try to run the rock, and then transition to throwing the ball a little bit more downfield, getting aggressive and try to catch this young DB core, who, like you said, very athletic, but young, lacking experience. Try to catch them off guard, see if they can get a splash play early at homecoming.
We'll take a small break here and be back on Canada West TV. welcome back here to Investors Group Field at the University of Manitoba for some exciting Canada West action here on Canada West TV between the 1-2 Manitoba Bisons and the 0-3 Calgary Dinos. Mike Still pleased to be joined in the booth for this game by Tyler Fabry and Ryan Carrett, two Bison alum, Hardy Cup champion and a Vanier Cup champion, and it's homecoming game here for Manitoba. Plenty of alumni out. Very exciting atmosphere, as you can see in the crowd here. Probably about, I'd say about 4,000 people in the crowd for this game. So definitely going to be an exciting one and a must-win for both teams when you look at the conference standings. Saskatchewan currently leading with a 3-0 record. Not far behind them is the University, 4-0 record. Not far behind them are the Regina Rams at 3-1. And then it's a dogfight from third down to sixth. Right now, Alberta is in that 3 spot. But UBC is right there as well, Manitoba right there as well. And then obviously Calgary, the only winless team currently on the season at 0-3. And you don't want to fall into an 0-4 hole, gentlemen.
No, you do not. Like you were saying, this game is very, very important for the Bisons. If they can get the win here and go to 2-2, they get to that 3-way tie for third place. Those 2 games at the end of the season against UBC and Alberta respectively are going to have a lot of importance. Yeah, like you said, definitely do not want to be 0-4 or 1-3. Big time game both ways.
And big wins last night by the Regina Rams and the University of Saskatchewan Huskies, both on the road. Those wins make the first and second place teams pulling further ahead in the standings, meaning everyone needs to start keeping pace. There needs to be some separation here. Big game today. Calgary has an opportunity to match the Bison's record.
Manitoba is going to start this game on offense. 2 returners back. This Vince Trumbiari kicks it off, and we are set to go here at IGF. A little bit of space right up the middle, and that's a great way to start things off. It's Kai Madsen all the way past midfield.
Tell you what, that return was aided by the Calgary kickoff. That low driving kick gives them too much room and too much space. You got to get that ball up in the air, get your coverage team some time to cover downfield. Way too much space for Kai Madsen once he catches his ball to operate up the sidelines.
Fantastic start for the Bisons.
Manitoba will field this ball at the Dinos' 52-yard line. Des Catelier will start in shotgun here. Single back is Braden Stubbs. Handoff is to Stubbs, and there's all kinds of room for the Vincent Massey product. He is untouched down into Dinos territory at the 35-yard line, and that's a storyline in this game for sure, gentlemen. Last time these 2 teams faced, it was a 28-20 win for the Bisons, and Manitoba as a team rushed for 233 yards on the ground. And in that particular situation, literally nobody touching Stubbs until he's well past the first down marker.
Yeah, Calgary came out in their base 30 defense. They brought 3 linebackers on the play, and it was a really good read by Stubbs. Great job up front by the big boys to pick everybody up. Untouched for 20 yards.
Stubbs with the spin move here. He resets, goes back the other way. Des Catelier with the lead block here. And this ball's on the ground, and it's Dinos football. We'll wait for the call, but that should be Dinos football. And it is, and Braden Stubbs with a costly fumble there. As Calgary with some early momentum. We'll check the replay on that one, but certainly not something you want to see off the hop for Manitoba.
Yeah, absolutely. Just kind of looked like Stubbs might have been just doing a little bit too much there. Kind of tried to take that run off the right side of the offensive line. Ran into his own guy, spun off, and then cut all the way back against the grain, resulting in a fumble and a change of possession here.
Dinos will take possession at their 35. Handoff here right up the middle, but not much on that play. Cole Adamson, the CFL draft pick, with the tackle. And starting at quarterback today for the Dinos will be Daniel Sananis, product of Vanier College, a 23-year-old on a SAGEP. And Carhut, we were talking pregame just about what he adds to this offense. We've seen Mateus Spallettini also start for Calgary, but it's Sananis who gets the QB1 reps here for the Dinos today.
Yeah, he's been an efficient passer in his game action so far this year. 4 touchdowns and 1 interception, completing well over 60% of his passes. Excited to see him get the lead today.
Passing play here. It's going to be short of a first down by about a yard there. Multiple Bisons in on that one. Catch by Ben Britton there. but Calgary will punt it away, so they cannot capitalize on the Braden Stubbs fumble.
A little bit of an interesting decision here from Coach Wayne Harris. 3rd and 1, kind of inside a short yard, but he was deciding to bring out the punt team.
Yeah, I don't love the call. Less than a yard here. I know you're in your own end, but it's still less than a yard. Opportunity to keep your offense on the field, on the road during a homecoming game.
Coming off a turnover too. See, maybe line up for a fake.
Dinos set to punt it away here. As Chris McLean gets that one off to Madsen, but he's taken down immediately on the play.
Dobson on the tackle, making a great play, getting downfield, fighting off the block the whole way down the field from the gunner position, works his way off, makes the hit on Kai Madsen. Well timed. It was close to a no yards, but it was one of those perfect ones. It was about 6 yards away when Kai caught the ball. Great job accelerating and finishing the play.
Important to note for the Dinos defensively, they are missing their 3 leading tacklers in this game, including Liam Reed and Daniel Flanagan in the linebacking core. So some important losses here for the Dinos today. And they are offside on this play. Looks like a free play for Manitoba. It's going to be a swing pass. More than enough for a first down. That's Brent Adams with the shimmy shake up to the Manitoba 42, nearly the 43, and that's the Alberta product. Brent Adams played his high school ball at Powerhouse St. Francis, where he was more of a blocker in that offense, but he did win a provincial championship with them, but he was able to refine his game as a blocker. But he's certainly known as somebody that can make plays deep on swing passes, on screens, all over the place. As we get the call there, offside. JP Chorney with that call, head referee here today.
I like what the Bisons are doing here early. They're doing things with their formation to kind of lighten the box, give them numbers advantage where they're trying to attack, getting the ball in athletes' hands quick.
4 receivers to the strong side here from Manitoba. Catelier rolls that way. Pressure in his face. He's going to air it up and just toss that one out of bounds. Good coverage there by the Dinos secondary. Team that's giving up 327 passing yards per game, the most in Canada. But there are a strong group of players back there. Important to note, Jacob Biggs, one of the veterans in that group, is not playing in this game.
It just looked like Des kind of wanted to push the ball downfield there. Didn't really see anything that he liked and decided to throw it away and live to play another down, setting up 2nd and 10.
Bison's in the pistol here. Catelier swings it out there. Caught by Vaughn Lloyd. And he's going to be close to a first down. We'll check the spot. That looks like it will be a fresh set of downs for Manitoba. And once again, Manitoba showcasing that versatility out of the backfield. It's Vaughn Mitchell Staplead, offensive coordinator, getting a ton of reps for different players. We've already seen Braden Stubbs make an impact in this game in the run game. Vaughn Lloyd, will see him get his carries, but we'll also see him catch the ball in the backfield. And then Noah Anderson as well, more of a power back north-south runner. And Ishe Matanga, who had his first career touchdown last week, receiving touchdown, will also get his touches for the Bisons. Catelier rolling out here. A little bit long, good coverage on that play by Deacon Taylor Young. Started as a true freshman for the Dinos last season, a staple member of that secondary, and that was certainly a topic of conversation. There were some players that were considered true freshmen because of the 2020 COVID year that didn't count. Deacon Taylor Young is one of those players that's a true freshman. He came in as part of that 21 class and started right away, and you will also call his name quite a bit in the return game. He's certainly one of the most versatile players in that Dinos secondary. Only 5'9", but he plays well above his size, a scrappy player, very athletic on a new Westminster. Catelier looking for a receiver there, and that one is incomplete. It looked like he had 8K Kasama, but just could not hold on there.
Yeah, it was definitely the right read for Des. Saw a little bit of an off coverage from the benefit corner for Calgary. And AK sat the road down, just could not come up with a catch, a little bit of a bobble, and then ran out of real estate coming close to the sidelines.
I like what we're seeing here early from the Dino secondary. You know, not everything is super locked down like you'd expect with a Calgary team to traditionally, but they're flying around. They're rallying to the ball. They're getting there in time, and they're making plays when they have to. They're doing a great job getting off the field.
Nico DeFonte, the former Calgary Dino, set to punt, and we'll talk about that way more as this game goes along. There's numerous Dinos connections on this Manitoba roster, and there are also some Winnipeg connections on the Manitoba roster. On the Calgary roster. Great downfield coverage there by the Bisons as Nick Conway was in on that tackle. Manitoba getting some important players back on defense in this game as well. Tristan Francis, starting defensive end, has the only sack this year for Manitoba. Missed last week to attend his mother's graduation, as we had a no yards call here on the Bisons. But I would say arguably more importantly, Marcel Aruda-Welch, back at cornerback on the boundary side for the Bisons, missed last week with a glute injury. And he returns to the lineup, the All-Canadian from 2021. Fake handoff here, and that pass is incomplete, as speaking of Aruda-Welch, he knocks that one down.
Tell you what, that is a massive get back for the Manitoba Bisons. As you said, Marcel Aruda-Welch, the All-Canadian last year, only played half the games in the season last year, was still voted by all the head coaches in Ken West as a Ken West All-Star. Just goes to show you the kind of respect he has in this league from his opponents.
And that pass breakup by Marcel Aruda-Welch means he is now only 2 shy of the program record. Stephen Adamopoulos, though, taking an objectionable conduct penalty, so that's going to negate things for Manitoba. Costly penalty there from a guy in that at the safety position in Adamopoulos that does not take a lot of penalties. A very mature player, high football IQ.
We've seen this a couple times this year from the Bisons, getting into penalty trouble. We had no yards on the punt, and now another one to pile on. They're helping this Calgary drive get going.
Low pass there, looked like it was going to go incomplete. Good job by Gob Dang to pick that one up off the turf. Jordan Friesen pointing, trying to let the ref know that it might have been on the ground, but that's going to be a catch.
That was a good quick read by Sanasis. Sorry, I pronounced his name incorrectly there. Just got the ball out of his hands quick, and definitely looked like it was very close to hitting the ground, but looks like about a gain of 3 there for the Dinos offense.
Sananis, 6'3", 6'3", and certainly has some size on him, and very athletic as well. As Dinos go off tackle here for a strong gain.
A bit of an interesting change of pace play call there on 2nd and 7 or on stretch zone. Big outside zone run to the boundary there. Got about 5 yards, so will result in what looks to be a punting opportunity for the Dinos, but definitely a change of pace play there on 2nd and long.
Matthew Clark listed as 3rd on the Dinos depth chart in terms of their backs, but again, just like Manitoba, there's going to be multiple people carrying the rock here for the UFC. Back to kick is Chris McLean. Kai Madsen return this one for Manitoba. Low snap there. Really great kick by McLean as Madsen goes back to his own 5. Tackled at the 10, and that's where Manitoba will take possession here. Still no score in this one.
Bison's being a little bit more aggressive than what we saw for most of the last game on that punt return. Bringing some pressure, trying to get in there and disrupt the punt from Calgary. The punter, though, to his credit, gets off a great kick. And when you bring that much pressure, you're not going to have a lot of protection for your returner. Kai Madsen kind of left to fight it off on his own back there, getting what he can before getting down.
Noah Anderson is now the single back for the Bisons. Scatelier passes out there, complete. And once again, it's Brent Adams, and Adams went over 100 yards receiving in his first game as a Bison at the start of the year. 9 catches in that game, and they're getting him active early.
Well, you know he's fired up. He's a former Calgary, or from the city of Calgary. You know he's fired up to play against the Dinos. You know, always want to make a mark against the town you're from.
Brent Adams did not have any U Sports offers coming out of high school, and that's something that helps fuel him now as the former Calgary Colt is off to a strong start here as A.K. Gasama takes that one, and you're going to see a lot of different players fielding the ball here for Manitoba.
Yeah, like we had mentioned kind of in the pregame show, offensive coordinator for the Bisons, Vaughn Mitchell, likes to get the ball in his playmaker's hands, and he is pretty loaded at receiver and running back this year, so nice little jet sweep to A.K. Gasama on first 10, getting about 8.5 yards, setting up the 2nd and short. Great ball by Dez. Saw the sand blitz off the edge, got the ball out of his hands quick. Right out to A.K. Gasama, moving the change.
Seeing lots of personnel packages with the Bisons already as Ishe Batanga checks into the game at the H-back position, comes across the formation to make the block there right in front of Des. Just gets enough of the defender, not a lot, but gets enough of the defender that Des can complete his throwing motion. You get that throwing motion done by your quarterback, usually good things happen. Gets completion out to AK, first down Bisons.
Fresh set of downs here for Manitoba. Scatelier hands that one off. Squeaking through and still on his feet. Noah Anderson. Huge gain there for the product of Lord Dweetsner. North-south power runner for the Bisons, and he makes that one count.
How did he get through that pile? Just looks like a inside zone run to the right. Good blocking by the Manitoba center. Theo Vaccaro settle. Anderson just kind of dips underneath a couple defenders and a couple blockers and gets about another 10 yards. Really good run for the Bisons offense.
Kind of been waiting to see this from Noah all year, and now we're kind of getting a glimpse of what we saw from him last year, where he's just a power running fight through everybody, getting those first downs. There we go, they're going right back to Noah Anderson again, right up the middle. He picks up a good chunk of yards, looks about 5 or 6 more yards on that carry, right up the middle and finishing the run physically. Nicely done by Noah Anderson again.
Absolutely, you love to see a running back running north and south with a lot of power behind him. Wants to draw in that contact and take all those linebackers. Like you said, great run on first down and get about 5 yards.
So early on, Bison's distributing the ball to a number of different players. 11 different players have a catch this year for Manitoba, and running the rock, they've also distributed the ball quite efficiently.
Yeah, it looks like we got a flag for offside. The Calgary linebacker got a little bit excited on his blitz. May have had something to do with that bad snap from the Bison center with Theo Vaccaro.
I hope so, because the rest of that play was a bit of a dumpster fire. Nothing went right for the Bison there. We had unblocked people coming through the line, a ball that snapped along the ground. Everything was looking ugly there, so they're going to get, fortunately, a call here against the Dinos.
Offside, Calgary, number 9, 5 yards, repeat second down.
Interesting that they're not giving them the first down here. It looks like they're right at the, they're about a football length short of a first down, so I think we'll see Jackson Kaczynski come in and some of the big unit for the Bisons.
In the short yardage package here, and Jackson Kaczynski, who started last year most of the season for the Bisons with Descatelli out with the season-ending injury, and he gets his first game rep here.
Second in about the length of the football, so definitely got the job done there.
Jackson Kaczynski. First down, Manitoba.
It's interesting, this is one of the smaller Calgary Dino teams I remember seeing the last few years, and you could just see it on that play as they lined up the Bison front, just overwhelming the Calgary front and driving them off the ball. Something that we haven't seen in about a good decade or so of this rivalry.
Important to note for sure that the Dinos are missing some of their bigger players as starters in Daniel Flanagan and Liam Reed. Handoff there on first down, and another big gain. It's Braden Stubbs. And the run game has certainly been efficient in terms of yards per carry this year for Manitoba. Stubbs is averaging 5.4 yards per rush this year. Von Lloyd averaging 4.6. So certainly no issues in terms of that. It's just been the touches, obviously, as Manitoba is a team that loves to throw the football. And they're cerebral in terms of, when to run the football. And we'll see if they continue to go to the run game, knowing how much success they had against the Dinos last year in that department. So once again, it's Stubbs on the carry, looking to break away, and he does. He gets enough for a first down there.
Stubbs looks like he wants to hit that home run. Trying to do everything he can to stay on his feet and gain extra yards. Yeah, like we alluded to in the pregame show, Calgary likes to kind of run that lighter box, so Bison's offensive coordinator, Vaughn Mitchell, sticking to the run, and it is definitely working early in the first quarter here for the Bison's offense. Getting about 6-7 yards a carry.
I like these last two runs by Stubbs here. That one where he fumbled, it seemed like he was trying a little bit too hard, like you said, to hit the home run, doing a little bit too much, costing himself a turnover. These last two just get north and south, get physical.
Fly sweep here. Kai Madsen breaks away and gets about 8 yards there. So once again, another Bison touching the football early on in this one. That is now the 9th different player to rush this season for Manitoba.
Interesting look from the Bison's offense, bringing that jet mostly underneath and then pulling the backside guard and tackle. It's kind of a two-way look to the Calgary defense, and it might be a handoff outside to Kai, or it might be coming back up the middle with a quarterback power counter kind of look. See if they can set something up going down the line with that.
Vaughn Lloyd moves out to block here as Catelier goes for Brent Adams. Had to step on his man, but just a little bit long, and right there as well was Deacon Taylor Young.
You know what, after I just said that the Calgary D-line looks undersized, there's a great play by the defensive line on this play. They get in there, I don't know what number it was exactly, but just disturbed Des Catelier's throwing motion so he couldn't follow through at the end of the play, and the ball just sailed on a little bit. Like you said, Brent Adams had the step on the defender. It was going to be a touchdown if Des could have just dropped it in the bucket, but the Calgary defense did a great job getting Des off rhythm.
The former Dino, Nico DeFonte, out for the field goal. It'll be a 31-yard attempt here. That one is up, and it is good. Manitoba taking an early 3-0 lead here with 4:07 left to play in the first quarter. And while we have a second here, gentlemen, let's talk a little bit about Nico DeFonte, Oak Park product. Spent the vast majority of his youth sports career with the Calgary Dinos, and it was his historic kick from a 59 yards out that secured the Dinos the Hardy Cup championship against the UBC T-Birds. And he certainly has a lot of memories with that team. One of the best to ever do it at the position in terms of just his leg in general. One of the strongest legs I've ever seen.
He's got a cannon attack. I mean, if you kick a 59-yard field goal, you obviously got a pretty strong leg. So
I enjoyed seeing the Dino bench trying to yell at him there during his attempt. I'll tell you, from coaching against him for 3 years, that ain't going to faze him.
Sananis throwing it out wide there. That pass is caught by Michel-Ange Desjardins.
The View Montreal product. View Montreal, known in the CJF for producing a lot of top-end receivers. Desjardins is having a solid start to the season this year. I'm expecting him to kind of burst out here this game or the next game. He's kind of one of those guys, hyper-athletic, looks really good on tape, looking for him to have a big game.
Two-time All-Canadian at the CJF level, 110 yards receiving this year for Desjardins. Sananis here, single coverage, he's going long, and that ball is nearly caught with one hand. What a great effort on the outside there by Gob Dang, but coverage was just as good, and that one falls incomplete.
An interesting choice for Sananis to kind of attack the All-Canadian and Marcelo Ruda Welsh, and he was with him every step of the way. Ball just a little bit outside, a little bit of a miss from Sananis, but definitely giving his receiver an opportunity to go make a play in man coverage.
I know, I was thinking the same thing. Gob Dang, you know, he's been their leading receiver so far this year, but interesting choice to try to isolate against the Bison's best defensive back and best cover man in Marcelo Ruda Welch there, who's, you know, coming off an All-Canadian campaign.
Yeah. Dino set to punt here.
McLean gets off another good one. We got Kai Madsen cleaning it, fielding it cleanly, getting north-south real quick, gaining back as many yards as he can. We do have a flag down on the far side. We'll see what that is.
An interesting spot for the flag to come out, considering where that punt landed. Looks like it's going to be a hold against the Bison return team.
I was going to say, usually when you see that, usually that means the corner on that side was holding the gunner on that side.
This is Ryan's pet peeve, as we had mentioned last week. A hold on a return isn't. It's from the point of the ball caught. Correct me if I'm wrong here. So we're going back even farther. We're losing about 30, 40 yards of field position for the Bison offense.
Tough penalty to take there for sure. A couple early ones here for Manitoba, costing them key yards.
That's the painful thing. A hold 10-yard penalty, but you're negating that big return that we had. So it ends up being about a 30-yard penalty against the Bisons. Boy, those ones are tough to swallow in a game of field position in CanWest football.
Absolutely.
So Manitoba will field this one at their own 14. Catelier. Handoff here at Stubbs, looking to get outside. Gains a few there. And let's just talk a little bit, gentlemen, about this Calgary front seven. They're a team that likes to run that 30, and they've definitely had success with it in the past against Manitoba specifically. You know, Ryan, you know that well, unfortunately, having been through a number of games as a coach. Just tell me about what the benefit of that is, especially for this Dinos team.
Yeah, they kind of do the bend but don't break. They're going to let you get some yards or positive yards on run plays, but the idea is that they'll get more helmets to the ball by the time, before you have a chance to get a first down, force you into second downs, make you complete some throws to get first downs and move the sticks.
Des Catelier had about 6 years to throw that football, but there's a flag on the play, most likely holding. We'll wait for the call, considering how much time Des had in the pocket there, and it is a hold.
This is going to be a painful one too. This is well behind the play, a hold that was not going to affect the outcome.
Yeah, it's a tough look for the offensive lineman up front when your quarterback's scrambling around for 3, 4, 5, 6 seconds there. Dez didn't really like what he saw when his initial read was to the field side. Then tried to look back to the boundary, there was also nothing there, and then just kind of scrambled around and took it to his feet. But it's a long time for your offensive line to try to pass protect, so 1 or 2 holds there, kind of expected in that situation. Putting the Bisons in a bit of a hole here on 2nd and long, going 2nd and 16 inside their own 10-yard line.
I'm not sure if Calgary even has a penalty so far in this game, but that's at least 4 for the Bisons so far, and they've been, you know, helping Calgary when the Calgary's on offense, and they're hurting themselves when they're on offense. So
Talier back to pass here. He's looking long, single coverage, trying to adjust for that ball, and it is incomplete. There's a flag on the play, and that's going to be pass interference as A.K. Gaslama, the intended receiver, and that's a smart decision. Just put it up there for one of the fastest guys in Canada West, and just let him go one-on-one with the DB there. Yeah,
that's Dez just trusting one of his best receivers, A.K. Kasama, just on a straight go route. Couple steps, hitched into it, stepped up, threw the ball, and then ended up being a little bit underthrown from Dez, which resulted in a deep ball PI, which we saw a couple times last week for the Bisons offense.
Yeah, very reminiscent of last week when Dez was trying to get the ball out there, and the ball was a lot slippery, and he couldn't quite get it there, and we're getting DBs on that back shoulder, collisioning the receiver and drawing the flag.
Fresh set of downs here for Manitoba, as that one is going to be whistled down. False start most likely.
It's unfortunate because that was a good job by Dez to see the blitz, throw right back to it. But yeah, like you said, offside on the Manitoba receiver, resulting in a blown.
Offside, Manitoba, number 19, 5 yards, repeat first down.
Yeah, like your point earlier, Ryan, it looks like the Bisons have taken about 5 or 6 penalties here early to Calgary's, I believe, 0. Definitely not helping themselves out in a close game.
5th penalty already for Manitoba.
Can't do this in Ken West. The teams are way too even for shooting yourself in the foot this many times this early in the game.
Sam might be coming again.
1st and 15. Looks like Dez was looking outside there for Von Loy, but takes it off instead, and he'll get just past the original line of scrimmage. And personally speaking, I got a little bit concerned there when I saw the way that Dez was being taken down on that one, considering his past with that season-ending injury, but felt the pressure there and gained some positive yardage.
Yeah, you like to see just Dez being confident, being able to check down to his feet, not being scared to take it down and try to get as many yards as he can. Got about 7 yards there because he didn't really see anything he liked when he looked to his receivers towards the field side there.
576 passing yards this season for Des Catelier. All kinds of time here, and he's got a man wide open in the middle of the field, and once again, it is B.A. Brent Adams. And the hometown boy making the Dinos pay early on in this game.
Brent Adams had himself one heck of a first quarter. Finding a soft spot in the zone late, coming across the middle on that dig road, that deep in, and just catching the ball, getting north and south, getting more yak yards right after that catch. Good first down conversion for the Bisons offense.
This will be the last play of the opening quarter. Bisons with a 3-0 lead here, really dictating time of possession in this game.
Ball on the ground again, potentially here. No, we got 2nd down.
Going back to the play prior, I really like what we're seeing out of the Bison O-line so far this game. Calgary brought a 4-man pressure. They did a great job deflecting the players to the outside, and Dez is doing a tremendous job climbing the pocket and keeping his eyes downfield. Sees Brent Adams enter the zone window late, throws a dart right to him over the middle. Huge first down for the Bisons.
Unfortunately, a couple guys injured, one for the Dinos, and it looks like Noah Anderson for the Bisons. Might have been a bit of an awkward tackle there. That pile looked to be a little bit weird.
Yeah, almost similarly to when Dez got tackled there, the way Noah kind of went down, it looked really awkward. There was bodies falling down all over the place. You don't like to see anything like that, obviously. Hopefully both the players are going to be okay. The Calgary players up and off the field. Noah's starting to go off the field under some assistance. Looks like it might be a knee or an ankle for Noah. Lower body either way. Walking off the field very gingerly at the moment.
Trying to get a number for the Calgary player. Looks like 55. It looks like he's holding on to his right arm, shoulder.
That's Salim Frazier for the Dinos.
Getting looked at by the training staff on their bench.
Ladies and gentlemen,
A little bit of an extended timeout here for the first quarter.
scholarship presentation. Please welcome to the field Bob Tugin. Bob is here.
Yeah, so far it's been an interesting first quarter. The Bisons have kind of been going and attacking the Calgary defense the way we kind of anticipated, Tyler. A lot of run game, they're handing the ball off, the runners are getting north-south against that light box, getting some good positive yards, putting them in second and manageable for the most part, even producing a couple first downs. And then Dez is doing a great job trying to get first downs through the air on second down. He's staying patient, staying with it, delivering some really nice passes so far, producing some first downs, but not a lot of points yet. Maybe something we'll see more of in the second quarter.
Yeah, absolutely. Been a really good first quarter, as you mentioned, for the Bisons offense there. Sticking to the game plan of their offensive coordinator, Vaughn Mitchell, sticking to running the ball into that light box. As former offensive lineman, love to see a 30 front, love to see only 2 linebackers back there. Gets you really comfortable to fire off the ball, start beating somebody up across the field from you. Yeah, absolutely good execution. Just unfortunately only 3 points to show for it, but when you take 5 penalties in the first quarter, definitely doesn't help you when you're trying to move the ball downfield.
And we haven't seen, I haven't seen the stats yet for how many plays both teams have ran, but the Bisons seem to have run a lot more plays so far than Calgary. But Calgary's offense, I kind of like some of the stuff that they've been doing so far. How have you been feeling about the Calgary Dinos offense? Kind of spreading the ball around a little bit with the pass game, getting the ball out fairly quickly so far. We've seen them go down the field once. But other than that, keeping everything kind of short, running the ball a little bit, changing up who their running backs are. What have you liked so far with the Dinos?
Yeah, I really like what they're doing to kind of settle their team down. You know, coming in with 3 straight losses in the conference, it's kind of tough on the morale of the team to kind of to settle everything down on offense, get the ball out quickly, run their bread and butter. Oh my goodness, I can't even speak. Stretch zone runs as Calgary's been running for years. Kind of setting themselves up to just build slowly as the game progresses.
We got 2nd and 4 here for the Manitoba Bisons, just across midfield. Empty backfield for the Bisons. A quick throw to Von Lloyd over the middle. He's met by a barrage of Calgary tacklers. He fights forward though, falls forward, gains another Bison first down.
That was a fantastic read from Dez. Calgary looked like about 5 or 6 guys with a clean rusher coming right into Dez's face. Stood into the pocket, absolute confidence, delivered a strike coming back over the middle there for the Bisons, resulting in a first down.
That's the kind of poise you love to see from your veteran quarterback. Just hanging in there in the face of it, pressure, delivers a strike to the running back out of the backfield.
Absolutely.
Fresh set of downs. Braden Stubbs off to the left side, and he's got some open field off and running and just gets dragged down at the very end. Oh my goodness, with the game save or the touchdown saving tackle there by Heyer. What a play by Braden Stubbs.
What a patient run. Waits for his hole, slow to fast through, coming through, hitting it with speed, getting a block from AK Kasama on the edge, and oh, so close to taking that one to the house.
Big first down, Bisons. They've entered the red zone as we're down to the 15-yard line. Des Catelier in the shotgun formation, takes a snap. Fake to AK Kasama, swings it out to Braden Stubbs, who makes a one-handed catch. That might be the best 1-yard gain of the day that we're going to see all day today. My goodness, Braden Stubbs, nice catch.
Once again, great recognition from Dez as we see it on the replay here. We're going to get a little bit of a fly motion from AK Kasama. We're getting a clean rusher coming off the edge. Dez poised in the pocket, gets the ball into his playmaker's hands, and one heck of a catch for Stubbs to only get 2 yards.
Leaves the Bisons in about 2nd and a long 8. Need to get to the Calgary 5-yard line to get a first down. It is possible for a first down. They go 4 receivers to the right. Brent Adams sneaks back underneath.
Ooh.
Oh, a great play by the Calgary defense. That's number 41.
Steen Rasmussen coming in there. Rasmussen, coming in to break that one up.
Unbelievable timing by Rasmussen. Just flying in there as Adams tried to sneak out the backfield, out the back door to catch this one in the flats. Hoping for some space. Ooh. Nice job by 75 as well on the Calgary defense. Minikata forcing Des Catelier to put a little bit more air under that ball than he wanted, so he couldn't deliver a strike to Brett Adams. And then the great play by the defensive back, like we talked about, Rasmussen breaking it up. Nico DeFonte coming on the field for the 20-yard field goal attempt. Oh, a little bobble of the snap. Kai Madsen gets it down. DeFonte makes no mistake about it. Puts it through the uprights. Bison 6, Dinos 0.
You love to see the Bisons offense finish with points on that drive, but man, they want 7 for sure. Stubbs was a shoelace away from taking that run to the house. And then just a really good play on that last play from the Calgary defense, studying the film, knowing exactly what was going to happen and stepping up and making a play on the ball.
Some quick first half stats for everyone. Time of possession was dictated by the Bisons, 11:04 to 3:56. In terms of penalties, Calgary 4 penalties for 25 in that first quarter, 4 for 33 for Manitoba. 164 yards of total offense for Manitoba, 23 for the Calgary Dinos, and 10 first downs to 1 as well. So certainly a first quarter that was dictated by the herd, but off tackle here, big gain for the Dinos into Manitoba territory. And that's Matthew Clark.
The Brampton, Ontario native. Unbelievable. Nice burst coming out of that backfield. Running strong. The lower body strength on display here as he's pulling off of arm tackles. Oh my goodness, he almost had a really big one. Luckily for the Bisons, Marcel Ruda-Walsh was able to corral him until Adamopoulos and the rest of the crew were able to get there and force him out of bounds. Calgary now on the Bison 51-yard line. 4 receivers to the wide side. Hand off to the left. Looks like Clark again, right up the middle, picking up a good chunk of yards. Looks like about 7 yards there, Tyler.
Yeah, good run, like you said. Calgary is in that 4x1 receiver set. It looked like they might have brought an H-back in for an extra blocker there on that inside zone look, but running downhill behind his pads, gain of 6. Good run on first down to set up second and short for the Dinos offense here. Scrimmaging from the Bison's 45-yard line.
2nd and 5 here, pistol formation for Sinanis. Rolls out to the strong side. Looking for a man in single coverage, and that one is picked off on the play, but there's going to be a flag. And it looks like it'll be Austin Ballin getting called there as Sebastian Reed, another former Calgary Dino, picked that one off, but that's a tough one if you were Manitoba. As he catch the replay, he just hung up in the air.
What a play by Sebastian Reed to come back. Oh, I don't know if that's PI.
What a tremendous play by Sebastian Reed, though, to recognize the corner route by the number 2 receiver. Comes off number 1, tracks the ball, gets all the way back there. That is tremendous athleticism by Sebastian Reed to get there and break up the play. But fortunate for the Calgary Dinos, big first down off of another Bison penalty.
As you can see on your screens here, Coach Dobie does not necessarily agree with the official's call of pass interference on that play. Obviously taking a turnover off the board for his Bisons.
First set of downs here for Calgary. Screen pass there, but absolutely nothing doing.
I'm pretty surprised that the Dinos keep going after Marcelo Ruda-Welch, the multi-time All-Star, who has been a standout for the Bisons pretty much since the first day he stepped on the campus here. Has done a tremendous job, and I know he missed last game due to injury, and maybe that's why they're trying to test him out a little bit. But my goodness, Marcel is just answering the bell time and time again, as you'd expect a senior to do.
Yeah, he read that screen like an absolute book. Beat his blocker clean and got a tackle for literally no gain, which is fantastic from the boundary corner.
Sinanis here, back to pass. Looking for a man, and that one a little bit too strong and incomplete.
Yeah, it looked like just a little bit of an overthrow from Sinanis. Didn't quite get his feet set in time to deliver a strike, because he had his receiver not necessarily wide open, but he had a little bit of a space on that longer deep out route throw. And as I had mentioned, Sinanis just did not get the ball to him. A little bit of an overthrow high and inside.
Yeah, that's one Sinanis is going to want back. You know, the offense is moving the ball. They're getting aided a little bit by a big Manitoba penalty. They get finally down into the Manitoba territory deep. Opportunity for an easy first down, pitch and catch. Wasn't able to execute it. Calgary's going to settle for a field goal attempt.
This will be from 37 yards out. Vince Trumbieri here. Snap is good, hold is good, kick is up, and it is good. 10-10 left to go here in the first half. Dinos get on the board, mixing run and pass, but certainly that penalty for illegal contact. A big story on that drive as well.
Yeah, good for the Calgary Dinos offense there to convert and turn that drive into points. Aided a little bit from the pass interference penalty there, but I'd love to see it for the Dinos offense get to build up a little bit of confidence, get some points on the board. Now we get to see the Bisons offense come back out, 35-yard line, ready to scrimmage.
As a former special teams guy, I'm going to give a quick shout out to the Calgary kicking team there for great execution on that one. They struggled last year with field goals. This year, much improved.
To be offside here on Manitoba as flags fly.
Yeah, it looks like the Calgary Will linebacker was definitely coming on a blitz, and it looked like Gio Vaccaro got just a little bit excited. Although the Calgary linebacker may have been in the neutral zone, we'll see what the refs decide to call here. And it will be on the Calgary Dinos defense for being a little bit too early.
Offside, Calgary, number 9, Tigers.
Oh, they go offside on the Dinos here, so it works out in the favor of Manitoba.
It's not the first time that those Dinos linebackers have been coming on blitzes and getting just a little bit excited. So I don't know if Dez has been mixing up the snap count or if they're just not timing it up very well.
Handoff here, and once again, a big hole and a fresh set of downs for Braden Stubbs, who had 32 yards rushing on 5 carries coming in.
Yeah, as we're going to see on the replay here, just looks like a nice standard inside zone run to the boundary. Stubbs nice and patient, lets his blocking develop up front, lets the big boys do their job, finds the hole, gets about a gain of about 8 or 9 yards, moving the chains for the Bisons.
Stubbs averaging 6.4 yards per carry so far, 11.7 for Noah Anderson on 3 carries. Fake handoff here, and that one is passed on to Deshaun Lejour, who stays on his feet, the big body receiver, 6'4", 220, showcasing that power and size on that play.
Yeah, you love to see that change of pace play there for the Bisons offense. Been running the ball kind of at will, getting about 5-6 yards a carry, as Mike had just mentioned. Good little play action pass there from Dez. Play action into the middle from Stubbs, and then finding Lejour on that quick out. And Lejour did his job as a receiver and a playmaker and got the first down. Underneath it and make a play, resulting in only about a 3-yard gain, but I'm sure the Dinos are pretty happy with that considering how well the Bisons have been running the ball early.
4 players to the strong side. As Vaughn Lloyd motions out of the back.
I'm sure Coach Dovey and Coach Mitchell were screaming at him to kind of get down there as he was running back towards the sidelines instead of north and south, but he ended up moving the chain, setting up 1st and goal.
Handoff here is to Stubbs, and he's going to get in for the touchdown. Braden Stubbs right up the gut. And with 5:34 left to play in the first quarter, Manitoba increases their lead to 10.
I know I just did it earlier in this drive, but I have to give love to the boys up front. Fantastic double team from Mateo Vaccaro and Stockman, the right guard, to just move bodies. They put their guy on the goal line from the 8-yard line, and you love to see that kind of push up front. Makes Stubbs' job as a running back a heck of a lot easier.
As the old saying goes, an offensive lineman, if you can get in the end zone, your running back will get in the end zone. A couple of Bison linemen finishing that rep in the end zone. No doubt, Braden Stubbs follows him right in.
Love to see it.
Point after is good. Just like that, Manitoba taking a 13-3 lead.
Pretty impressive drive there. You know, Des Catelier keeping the plays alive and keeping the drive alive, using his feet. He's always been a bit of a shifty kind of quarterback. He's not known, like you said, for his speed and escaping the pocket and making big plays, but he always does a great job checking down to his feet when it's appropriate, finding space in the open field, usually getting a first down. Just don't like to see him get tackled at the end of the play. Maybe I'm just gun shy from last year. You know, you just want to see QB1 always being healthy. But it was a great job by him. You know, he didn't see he didn't like what he saw, Tyler, like you said. Checked down to his feet, got the first down, extended the drive, gave the Bisons an opportunity to score 7 points.
Yeah, you love to see that out of a fifth-year quarterback, and not try to take those unnecessary throws if there's some coverage there that he doesn't like and try to force the ball in. You like to see that he's confident enough to check down to his feet, even coming off of that injury from last year. But yeah, doing a really, really good job taking what the defense is giving him and having no problem checking down to his feet when necessary.
Interested to see this kickoff here. The Bison cover teams last week were unbelievable against the dynamic UBC returners.
There was a little bit of room there, but Gavin Perkins, that's his had a little bit of room, but Perkins shutting that one down.
There was a lot of violent collisions on that cover. The Bison bench went going nuts as the players are running down the field.
At the conclusion of the play, Calgary, number 21, 15 yards, first down.
adding insult to injury, unnecessary roughness called on Christian Phillips, the former member of the Manitoba Bisons, a product of Garden City. And Winnipeg also played at Simon Fraser, and it's called there on the flag.
Played a lot of special teams last year for the Bisons. He was on almost all their special teams units and was a very effective player, able to transfer and play right away as a graduate student. Tremendous football player, I like to call him like a heavy football player. He flies around, he's very physical with the way he plays. He likes to play with a mean streak at all times. And I think that might have been one of the cases where the Bison bench was going crazy from a violent collision that had occurred, and he took exception standing up for his teammate, and unfortunately took the penalty after the play.
Can't really see the number of the player down here for the Dinos.
I believe it's number 43, Griffo, who is also their long snapper. Something you don't want to see, holding his arm here, elbow, shoulder, maybe injury. Either way, no matter what it is, upper body injury, we got Carbone practicing some long snaps on the sideline, knowing that the top long snapper is down and unsure of whether or not he'll be able to continue.
That's the storyline we'll certainly follow as this game continues. Manitoba was in a similar situation in week 1 when their starting long snapper Dolan Hills was unavailable, and certainly had a few issues with the snaps there. We'll see if that's something that comes back to cost Calgary in this one as they set up at their own 10-yard line after the penalty. Sananis with a single back. Toss play here, looking for a little bit of room. Marcus Bachru filling that gap well for a short gain on that play as it's Matthew Clark on the carry.
Yeah, really good play by Isaac Dawkin there to come read the play from the running back that it was a toss look and come all the way back across the formation, force the running back to come back inside, and then ended up with a good tackle from his teammate Marcus Bachru. It was the second time or third time we've seen that kind of triangle bunch formation from the Calgary offense, and they ran the ball both times out of it from what I can remember. So we'll see if there's a little bit of a twist to that as the game progresses. And there's a little bit of confusion.
Way too many players in the huddle for Calgary.
Yeah.
That's going to cost them on this one. I will say, building off that last play, though, Marcus Bachru, I'm thoroughly been impressed with him this season. He went from a cornerback position. He was a defensive back and a corner the last couple seasons for the Manitoba Bisons, has completely transformed his body. I saw him after the game last week. Didn't even look like Marcus Bachru. He's beefed up for the Sam linebacker position. And last week we saw him make a few plays. He's making plays early in this game for that Bison defense.
Definitely something that was noticed all across the board at training camp was the muscle that Marcus Bachru had put onto his frame for sure. And at 6'4", already a big body out there, and now adding even more size. Sananis here looking for a man. Gonna check it down there, but that one falls incomplete. Looking for Gob Dang on that play.
Yeah, as a receiver, if the ball hits you in your hands, you should definitely be able to make that catch. The ball was a little bit down and away coming from the Calgary quarterback, but definitely a drop that the receiver would want back from the Dinos.
Well, here we go. The punt team for the Calgary Dinos coming on the field. Notably missing is Griffo, the long snapper, who is still on the trainer's table. So we're going to have the backup long snapper in the game. I'm suspecting the Dinos are going to give up 2 and a safety here. But if not, I mean, something to always watch here. Anytime a backup long snapper is going in, the special teams coordinators are holding their breath.
Kai Madsen is back at the 55 in case this is a punt from the Dinos, and all kinds of confusion on that snap count. There's a hard count there, and that's going to push things back even further.
Looks like the teams have kind of flip-flopped. The Bisons are taking all the penalties in the first quarter, and Calgary decided to take that back from them and take the reins and take all the penalties here, kind of progressing through the second quarter, as the upback was definitely a little bit too excited to get going downfield.
Yeah, Dobson, who we've seen make a couple of nice plays on the punt cover team so far, just a little too excited to get out there this time around.
Well, if they weren't going to give up a safety before, there's a definite strong possibility they'll give one up here.
And just like you're a telepathic up in the booth there, Tyler, it is going to be a safety. So Manitoba increases their lead to 15-3 here.
I'll give the credit to Ryan on that one. He's the former special teams coordinator. I played on, I think, one special team my entire career, and it was field goal convert, so not my field of expertise by any means. And it looks like we're going to get a kickoff based on the huddle we see on the Bison sideline instead of just the standard offense coming out.
Interesting decision here by the Bisons to elect to return the ball. Normally, not always, but normally, Coach Doby likes to just put the offense on the field. They must feel pretty good about their return unit right now and what they've seen so far this game. They're going to force Calgary to kick off and cover this thing from back on their own 35-yard line. While
we have a second, gentlemen, let's just talk quickly about the connections, Dinos connections on the Manitoba roster. We already talked about Nico DeFonte, part of that Hardy Cup winning team from a few seasons back, where he nailed that iconic field goal, the longest field goal in Canada West history. A few others as well. Sebastian Reed is a former Calgary Dino, originally played for New Westminster, where he won a provincial championship. And Tyrese Vinner-Cox, the defensive lineman, as well as another former Calgary Dino, who got rotation reps for them as well for a number of seasons. So certainly quite a few former UFC players here suiting up for Manitoba.
Yeah, and we've seen Nico do his thing. He's been punting the ball well and kicking field goals, obviously. And we saw Sebastian Reed get an almost interception, if not for a penalty by Austin Ballin.
Get on that. Get on that.
Short kick there, and that was a bit of a confusing play there for Manitoba, as I don't know if one of the upbacks there realized where that ball was, but Stubbs, Johnny on the spot to pounce on it, and Manitoba was solid field position to start at their 41.
Yeah, I like that decision there from the Calgary Dinos special teams to kind of set up. They probably seen something in film, or as this game has progressed, as to what the Manitoba upbacks are doing. They found the soft spot, kind of pooched it in there, and thankfully the Manitoba return, I think it was Stubbs, fell onto the ball kind of just in the nick of time.
Yeah, Calgary was a step or two away from getting the ball back there.
Catalier hands it off here. Noah Anderson looking for some room, but not much there. Sabumi Oyasoro filling the gap there. Short gain.
Kind of an interesting choice here from the Manitoba offense. Their inside zone stuff has been working quite well in the first quarter and a half. A little bit of a switch up here, going to a bit of an outside zone look to the boundary. And yeah, like Mike had said, really good job by the Calgary defense to stretch that out and to fill and make the tackle for only a gain of 1.
Be interesting to see if Calgary brings pressure. They've been doing it on second down quite a bit lately. See if they bring 5 or 6. Just 4.
Tellier looking long here, single coverage, but no luck. Great job defensively there. One-on-one, Steen Rasmussen locking down intended receiver Vaughn Lloyd there coming out of the backfield.
Yeah, Rasmussen was with him step for step all the way down the field. Des was kind of hoping Vaughn could get some separation at the end there, but no such luck. Great coverage by this young secondary. Good job by rallying to the ball on the first down by the Calgary Dino defense. After giving up that safety, they're going to get the ball back. It's somewhat decent field position. I think a good return going.
Yeah, great job by the Calgary defense to force the Manitoba 2 and out, only giving up 1 yard there within the 2 plays, forcing Nico to set up to punt.
End over end kick fielded at the 30-yard line.
Oh, good job, Conway.
Matt Sibley gets a solid gain there up to the Dinos 43, and Tyler heard you on the headset talking about Nick Conway there doing his job there on the defensive end for the Bisons.
Yeah, it just looked like he was really patient, didn't go anywhere to set himself up to fail on that play. He kind of just stayed patient, waited for the returner to make his decision and reacted accordingly. And I don't think he made the tackle, but he definitely forced it back inside to one of his teammates to only set up not a gigantic return, but still a good return for the Calgary Dinos. Offense setting himself up here from about the 43-yard line, it looks like.
Dinos will reset here. First down. Handoff here, but not much. Bison's defensive line doing their job on that play. And we've got Matteo Spallettini now in at quarterback for the UFC, and that's something we've seen the Dinos do this year all year long, is kind of go between their 2 quarterbacks. I mean, Ryan, do you like this decision, or what's your thought on that?
I don't. I honestly don't. I know they're not rolling on offense, but I thought Sinanis was doing a pretty good job dissecting what was going on in front of him. Made some good decisions. He had 1 or 2 errant throws, but he hasn't had a ton of opportunities. Calgary hasn't had the ball a lot. They haven't converted a lot of first downs, which, I mean, you can maybe put on him, but I don't think it was.
Spallettini here on second down. Feels the rush, looking to get to that first down marker, and he will. Spallettini and Sinanis both certainly capable of using their legs here. And Spallettini, a long lineage, the Spallettini family connected to the University of Calgary program as well.
Yeah, when we were doing our pregame prep for this game, I saw his last name on the depth chart, and I had to ask Mike if this is the same Spallettini. I played against his older brother back in 2014. His older brother Thomas was a linebacker for the Dinos, and their father and grandfather both played in, I believe, both in the CFL. So definitely a great bloodline for the Spallettini family, and now seeing Mateo take the reins for the Dinos, see what he can do. Great recognition by him. Didn't see anything that he liked there downfield. Checks down to his feet, and but made a great kind of open field move on Marcel Arruda-Welsh, who did a good job to maintain, but also looks like Marcel is down on a knee here, getting looked at by the athletic training staff for the Bisons.
If I'm the Calgary coaching staff, I'm calling Spallettini over right now, and I'm going to take a shot at whoever comes in for Marcel Arruda-Welsh. Anytime you get a backup corner going into the game, especially the way Marcel's been playing so well, I'm going to try my luck a little bit and take a quick shot, see if I can't get a big play or big explosive play to get us back in field forward in a scoring position.
Absolutely. Good to see Marcel jogged off under his own power, and it looks like Sebastian Reed has come over to the boundary side corner for Marcel.
And Owen Miller checks in on the field side.
So we'll see if Ryan's prediction is correct, and if they take a shot here towards Sebastian or not, or if they go to the other side to Miller.
Bison's playing with numerous players in that deep third on first down. No gain there.
As we play armchair offensive coordinator, I think we might slightly disagree with that play call. As Ryan alluded to earlier there, saying with Marcel going down, you might as well try to take that shot, especially getting a corner coming in who's not fresh, a little bit tighter on the sidelines. You'd think you'd see that downfield opportunity, but instead they decided to go with that inside run, and resulting in no gain.
Yeah, the ball's in the middle of the field. Perfect time to throw at the field corner, but I digress.
2nd and 10 here for Calgary. Spallettini looking for a man. Now he feels pressure. Oh. And that one is incomplete. Great coverage on the play by Sebastian Reed, but there is a flag, and it looks like it's going to be roughing the passer. So the second time in this game where Sebastian Reed's made a big play in the secondary, but it's going to most likely be negated here.
Yeah, good play by Spallettini there. It looked like it was about a half roll designed to go towards the field. Didn't see anything he liked to that side of the field. Checked down to his feet, kind of scrambled around. Gave his receiver an opportunity to make a play. And as I'm talking, I can see Marcel Arruda-Welsh has come back onto the field and taken his spot, except for he is not allowed to because that was only 2 plays instead of 3. So he's coming back just a smidge early here. So we're seeing Sebastian Reed come back to the boundary corner. And unfortunately, as we had predicted, it was an unnecessary roughing the passer penalty on the Bison's defensive lineman. I didn't get a number, but it is resulting in a first down for the Dinos inside the Manitoba 40.
Calgary 2, the Bisons 39. They took advantage of a legal contact penalty earlier on to score 3. And there's nowhere to go on this one. Dolan Hills with the sack for Manitoba.
The Hunting Hills product making noise again. Had a big game last week against UBC. Comes clean off the edge on the weak side here for the Bison defense. Gets right in there and makes a great play on the quarterback.
That looked almost like a bust from the Calgary protection scheme because the running back stepped up into the middle. It didn't really look like there was anybody there. It kind of looked like Spallettini saw Dolan Hills line up right away. You can see his eyes are to the boundary the whole time. Just unfortunately was not able to get away, and a great play by Dolan to get a sack.
2nd and long for Calgary. Spallettini looking for a man, and it is picked off. And can you say Dolan Hills back-to-back big-time plays for the Hunting Hills product. First career U Sports interception. Ryan Carr, tell me about that one.
Unbelievable. You know, when Nick Thomas went down for the Bisons, we thought there was going to be, a really devastating loss for the defense. And don't get me wrong, it is. Nick Thomas, tremendous leader, tremendous football player, but Dolan Hills has filled in admirably the last 2 games, keeps making splash play after splash play, gets a sack on the play before, here drops right underneath the route, picks off the Spallettini pass, and returns it for a good chunk of yards back the other way for the Bisons.
I can confidently say Spallettini did not see Dolan Hills in that zone because he threw it right between the 4 and the 1.
10 tackles last week for Hills. And off to a great start here again in this one as Bisons take it off tackle. And another fresh set of downs, gain of close to 20 for Braden Stubbs. Having his best game of the season on the ground.
I feel like I should stop giving the Bisons offensive line some love, but I will not, because these boys are making holes, and Stubbs is seeing these cuts. Coming up to the holes, nice and slow, waiting for the boys up front to give him something to look at. Makes a beautiful jump cut out to the boundary there. Was giving himself about another 12 yards on the first down. Right back to him here on 1st and 10, getting about 6 yards, and a late flag coming in.
I love the patience Stubbs has shown on the last 2 runs. He's kind of waiting behind that Bison O-line, letting them set up their blocks, and once they latch onto the defenders, popping out and grabbing as many yards as he can.
Based on Mateo Vaccaro's signal, it looked like there was a face mask penalty on the Calgary Dinos, and we are moving the ball up 15 yards, so it looks like he was correct. Yeah, like you said, Ryan, really patient, really good runs from Stubbs the whole first half here.
Was untouched basically on that one until he hit about 5-6 yards downfield. Really good job by that Bison's offensive line. From left to right, Gio Vaccaro, Ryder Klazowski, Mateo Vaccaro, Matt Stockman, and Halen Britsize. That pass is incomplete as it is dropped on the play.
Dez definitely, I don't think he necessarily wants that ball back. I think he just wants his receiver to make the catch, because that was a good read from Dez, just a little bit of a play action pass with his receiver coming over the middle on that deep in, shallow in, and unfortunately just wasn't able to hold on to it.
I like that play by Dez. Dez checking down to his underneath route, just trying to get himself in a good manageable second down, or give Adams an opportunity to create the first down himself with his legs. I love it, just too bad they couldn't execute it.
Catelier looking to the end zone here, double coverage, and that one is incomplete. And trying to see you shaking your head on that one.
That was a scary one. The corner dropping off into coverage there, and you're throwing the corner out. It's always going to be dicey. You got to be on point with that ball. Don't love that decision, unfortunately, from Dez. But the Bisons are in scoring range. They got an opportunity to put some more points on the board.
Yeah, like you said, being in scoring range is good. Coming out with points is good, but coming out with 3s instead of 6s is definitely not ideal for the Bisons offense. You want to see them, as this game progresses, be able to convert these drives, especially as we get close to the red zone, into touchdowns instead of field goal opportunities from Nico. But they have a really reliable kicker in Nico DeFonte, so you can never go wrong with giving yourself an opportunity for 3.
DeFonte looking to go 3 for 3 on the day. That one is up, and it is good. There is a late flag as well. And I believe this, we'll see what happens here, but
I think it's just going to be running into the kicker, so I don't think it'll be a first down. So I'd be surprised if the Bisons take the penalty. They'll probably just decline it, keep the points on the board.
From the former special teams coordinator, I will take your word for it. I didn't see it, but
I'm not sure. As I say that, the Bison offense is coming
yeah.
back on the field, so maybe it is going to be a first down. I thought that'd be a 5-yard penalty, not a...
We got some of the Calgary coaching staff with their hands on their heads in disbelief as their team forced to stop, but unfortunately took a bad penalty. And it was right. Oh, it's contacting as a 10-yard penalty. There you go. Gives the Bison's offense another hope. And as I just said, got to convert these drives into touchdowns with only 29 seconds left on the clock. They got about 14 yards to go, so they got a lot of time in Canadian football to score. But you would definitely love to see a touchdown before the end of the first half here for the Bison's offense.
Bison's reset here after that penalty at the Calgary 10. Empty backfield. It's Noah Anderson motions out. It's going to be a jet sweep here to Deshaun Lejour. Is he in? They're waiting, and it's going to be a touchdown, Manitoba. First U Sports touchdown for Deshaun Lejour, taking the sweep here and going the distance.
What a great play from Lejour. This is the second time we've seen that look from the Bison's offense. The first time it went to AK Kasama, they had that fly jet motion coming in from the boundary, going towards the field. And then they had the backside guard and tackle from the Bison's offense pull around to give a look for a counter option for the quarterback. And it was a really good play from Deshaun to beat the defender for the Calgary Dinos, who was in position to make a play, but just flat out speed, beat him to the edge, took it around the corner, and was able to take it in for 6.
So that penalty against the Dinos for roughing the kicker comes back to cost them. Instead of 3, Manitoba puts 7 up on the board.
That is disheartening for the Calgary Dinos team. That is a tough one to take, as you had the Bisons off the field setting up for a field goal. You would have had a little bit more time for your offense to try to maybe get some points here before the end of the first half. But unfortunately, with the contact and the kicker penalty, And really good play calling from the Bison's offensive coordinator, and a fantastic athletic play from Lejour to take that ball around the edge and reach for the pylon to score. You absolutely love to see that from the Manitoba Bison's offense, and you hate to see it if you're a Calgary Dinos fan.
Coach Dobie always known for recruiting his junior players. We're seeing two big recruits on the receiving corps making a lot of plays for the Bisons this first half. Brent Adams from the Calgary Colts and Deshaun Lejour, the former Regina Thunder and Edmonton Husky product. Both of them in their first year at the Manitoba Bisons. Both of them having a big impact on this game so far, on the ground and through the air, as the Bison attack is starting to get rolling here with 22 points in the first half.
Yeah, you love to see that from the Bison's offense, who obviously were in a little bit of the elements last week in the Manitoba monsoon, as it seems to be rolling through the Canada West broadcast to be called that way. But putting up 22 points in the first half is definitely something the Bisons are going to be happy with going into the locker room.
Taylor Young on the return, but he's going to get stuffed right away by Nick Pereira. A hard-hitting linebacker comes downhill and makes that tackle.
This Bison kickoff unit is just flying. Last week they had an outstanding week, like I mentioned before, against those UBC dangerous returners. This week, flying down the field again, we've seen Nick Pereira and Gavin Perkins making plays for the Bison cover teams. Unbelievable job there by Nick Pereira.
Curious to see what the Dinos offense is going to come out and do here, if they're going to try to push the ball downfield or just be a little bit conservative and get into halftime and try to make some adjustments. With only 18 seconds left on the clock, and they're scrimmaging from their 16.
They'll run the ball here right up the middle. 5-yard gain, but it's a fumble, and Manitoba motioning that they have recovered this ball, and they've got the football.
Well, that is definitely not ideal from the Calgary Dinos side of things. It looked like they were just going to try to get this ball into halftime. Little inside zone coming up the middle, and it might have been Friesen who punched that out. It was kind of hard to see from the replay, but setting the offense back up with only 11 seconds on the clock, but they're on the 22-yard line, so we definitely have an opportunity here for the Bison's offense to take probably a good 2 shots into the end zone before having to settle for the field goal, if that is the situation.
And incredibly, they look like the Bisons only get 3 points here before the end of the first half. They might be able to convert this into 10 or 14 points at the very end here in the last minute or so of the first half.
Isaac Dawkin was the one that pounced on that fumble for Manitoba as they take it at the 21. Catelier rolls outside the pocket, looking for somebody in the end zone, and he's got a man, but it is a little bit too far for Kai Madsen.
Looked like that might have been Hutter.
Or excuse me, it was Tristan Hutter, the intended receiver on that play.
Oh man, did Dez want that back? He saw him coming open late, just wasn't able to get his hips turned around in time as he was facing a little bit of pressure from the Calgary linebacker, and he was kind of, definitely open late. Took about 9 seconds off the clock, so we're going to get another Nico DeFonte 30-yard field goal attempt. But like Ryan had said, being able to go from only 3 points there to be able to convert this into opportunity for 10, the Bison's coaching staff is going to be ecstatic going into the room.
Love that play by Dez, too. You had Zach Wynn underneath early. Knowing the situation with the clock, he gives a quick pump fake. The DB comes off of Tristan Hutter in the end zone, opens it up over the top for that shot to the end zone.
It's a third not great snap from the Manitoba Bison special teams field goal unit, but Nico being out, good play by Kai Madsen to be able to get the ball back onto the tee, and Nico getting it up and through the uprights. The Bisons take a 25-3 lead into the half.
Quick first half thoughts here, Ryan, as we head to halftime. Bison's up big here, 25-3.
Calgary's got to figure out a way to stay on the field on offense. The field seems to be slanted in the Bison's favor so far. The Bisons have been hanging on to that football for the vast majority of the whole first half. Calgary's struggling to convert first downs, struggling to keep their defense off the field, and you're seeing it, the defense is starting to wear out.
25-3, Manitoba over Calgary. We'll take a break here, come back in about 18 minutes on Canada West TV.
think it's my year, yeah. I really feel it's my time, think it's my year, yeah. I really feel it's my time, think it's my, yeah.
Your Canada West Special Teams Player of the Week is David Soley. The kicker played the hero on a night when Saskatchewan couldn't find a major score. Soley kicked 3 field goals to comprise the majority of the team's offense. That included a 38-yard attempt in the third. In the fourth, he booted a 32-yarder in the final moments to gift his team the win. Soley also notched 9 punts for 348 yards and 2 kickoffs, his play keeping the Huskies perfect on the season. Your Canada West Defensive Player of the Week is Nick Weeb. The Saskatchewan Husky linebacker played a key role in a defensive affair to keep his team perfect on the season. Weeb finished the night with 7 tackles and a deflection that changed the course of the game. In the third quarter, Weeb went up to dismantle this pass, so his Huskies could pick it off and later score for their first lead. Weeb's attention on defense helped the Huskies to an 11-10 victory over the Rams. Your Canada West Offensive Player of the Week is Eli Hetlinger. Hetlinger showed off all his skills from the pocket in Week 3 action. The rookie QB went for 6 rushes, including a touchdown. He found his receivers with perfect form, going 24 for 33 on the night with 348 passing yards. He threw in a 65-yard, then 19-yard touchdown, pushing the Golden Bears to their second win of the season.
And now running is Hetlinger, and he has plenty of space. Hetlinger around the outside, Hetlinger to the 30, and pushed out of bounds inside. Hetlinger takes the ball, runs around to the outside, and he is into the end zone.
Kelly Bouchard was a pioneer of women's hockey at the University of Calgary. As a member of the Dinos' inaugural team in 1997, Bouchard put them on the map, quickly establishing her dominance in the league. She was voted a first-team Canada West All-Star and All-Canadian as she helped the Dinos to a conference bronze. Bouchard returned in 1999 to 2000, notching 9 points in 8 games. It was after this season she earned a spot on the senior national team, winning an Olympic gold medal in 2002 and 4 IIHF World Championship titles. Bouchard's commitment to women's hockey did not end there. Knowing and having what it takes to win at the highest level, Bouchard returned to the University of Calgary, serving behind the bench when the team captured its first ever national championship in 2012. Her impact on the University of Calgary and Dinos hockey cannot be understated. Janice McDonald, formerly Paskovich, left her mark on women's basketball that endures to this day. McDonald was a fierce inside presence for the Calgary Dinos in the late 1970s and early 80s, with grit and skill that shone on both ends of the court. She was twice voted the Canada West Player of the Year and once the CIAU Player of the Year, as she helped her team capture the school's first ever conference title in women's basketball. McDonald's name can still be found in multiple categories of the Canada West record books, most notably remaining 5th in rebounding history 40 years after she hung up her shoes. She also played for the Canada national and Olympic teams while completing her studies in physical education. Byron Goodwin, a double Canadian record holder, was a fiend on the track, a force to be reckoned with in multiple distances. Regardless of the race, there was only one prize on his mind, one place he would end up: the top of the podium. The Manitoba Bison athlete is a 12-time U Sports gold medalist. Individually, he shined in the 300-meter, 600-meter, and 1,000-meter. He was also a member of the 4x200-meter, 4x400-meter, and 4x800-meter medal-winning teams. His specialty, though, was the 600-meter race, in which he still holds the Canadian record with a blazing 1:16.60. He was ranked 3rd in the world at that event in 1995. To top it all off, Goodwin was a member of the 4x400 team that still holds the country's indoor record. To understand the impact Andrew Buckley had on Canada West football, one only needs to open up the conference record book. The former Calgary Dino wrote his name up and down its pages, most notably breaking the CW and U Sports passing and completion percentage records. But it wasn't just individual greatness Buckley achieved. The Calgary, Alberta product is a 3-time Canada West champion. The hometown quarterback was named the best university football player in the nation, not just once, but twice in his career. Buckley was as impressive off the field as he was on it. He repeated as the Canada West Student Athlete and Russ Jackson Award winner in 2013 and 14, becoming the first ever athlete to win the Crichton and Jackson Awards in the same season. Buckley went on to get drafted by the Calgary Stampeders after he was accepted into medical school. There was really only one team to watch when it came to men's university track and field in the late 1980s and early 90s. The Manitoba Bisons were the pinnacle of excellence, ripping through the track to scoop up 14 Canada West and national titles in 9 years. From 1988 to 96, the team was nearly untouchable. At the conference championships, they beat their closest opponents by an average of 24 points in the 7 title years. 50 athletes came home with gold medals, while 64 earned silver and bronze. The athletes who made up the team wore their winning mentalities day in and day out. They held 10 spots in the U Sports record book of top 10 finishes for at least 20 years. Regardless of where the national championship meets were, the team hauled home some major hardware. They stepped up on the podium for a combined 66 medals. Over the 7 season titles, 43 athletes earned CIAU First Team All-Canadian nods, while 17 made the second team. James Daly's legacy lives through every athlete who walks through the doors into Manitoba's indoor field house. The man the complex is named after was a remarkable coach, builder, fundraiser, and advocate for athletes in the province. Daly was a well-known coach who devoted more than 65 years of his life to his athletes. He founded the track and field club at the University of Manitoba and coached there until 1996. Daly's commitment to athletics ventured far outside the track. He led a group that brought the 1967 Pan Am Games to Winnipeg before becoming the game's executive director. He also managed the Canadian Olympic team in 1964, served on the board for Tennis Canada, advised the 2002 North American Indigenous Games, and acted as the chef de mission for 2 Commonwealth Games. Daly became a member of the Order of Manitoba in 2000 before being appointed the Order of Canada the following year. Michelle Kahn was a special talent in the world of field hockey, regarded highly not only in university athletics, but on the world stage. Kahn worked her way to esteem. She wore the C on her chest atop the country's maple leaf and is now regarded as one of the top goal scorers ever produced in women's field hockey. Kahn competed at the University of Calgary from 1981 to 85, regarded as one of the best to don a Dinos field hockey uniform. The 3-time Canada West All-Star was an instant game-changer for the team. While at the University of Calgary, Kahn boosted the profile of another red and white team. She represented Canada at 93 international events, including 3 Olympic Games. She co-captained the team from 89 to 92 and captured a bronze at the 1986 World Championships in Holland. Kahn earned her Bachelor of Sciences degree in 1988 before adding a certified general accountant's designation in 2001. Derek Snelling, considered one of the greatest swimming coaches to walk this earth, was the mastermind behind the Dinos dynasty in the 1980s and 90s. In his 16 years at the University of Calgary, Snelling coached 9 men's teams to national championship glory and 11 Canada West titles. He also led the women's program to 3 CW banners. Snelling's resume is as long as it is remarkable. He was the CIS Coach of the Year 7 times and coached Canada at various Olympics, Pan American Games, Commonwealth Games, and World Championships. Snelling's name is engraved in the International Swimming Hall of Fame. His swimmers have captured 21 Olympic medals and 7 world records, and the man literally wrote the book on swimming advantages, which was published in 1975. Snelling was also awarded an Order of Canada before he passed away in 2021 at the age of 87.
All right, back at IG Field. Ryan Card, Tyler Fabry, and Mike Still here with you. Quick analysis from the first half stats. Tyler, what sticks out to you?
The Manitoba Bisons offense has 198 yards on the ground, 22 carries split up for the offense. Braden Stubbs leading the way, 11 carries, 107 yards, averaging 9.7 yards a carry. Manitoba Bison's offense has been on fire in the first half.
Big play discrepancy. We talked about it right before halftime. It felt like the field was tilted, confirmed by stats. Calgary with only 18 plays on offense so far for 48 yards, compared to Manitoba's 42 plays for 313 yards. A time of possession of 19 minutes and 57 seconds for the Bisons, 10 minutes and 3 seconds for the Dinos, essentially doubling the time of possession. Unbelievable first half. Can't ask for anything better out of the Manitoba Bisons during homecoming weekend than that first half.
Yeah, you love to see that from the Manitoba Bisons offense. The only real thing that the Bisons coaching staff probably didn't like was 7 penalties for 73 yards. But even on the Calgary side of things, they took 10 penalties for 80 yards. So that's kind of where the only two similarities lie on the stat sheet from the first half, as the Bisons get ready to line up to open the second half with a kick from Nico DeFonte. Let's see if all of this can carry over, or how we're going to see this second half play out from the Bisons and the Dinos as we go live.
DeFonte's kickoff deep left. We got a big lane here on the return.
That's the spark that the Calgary Dinos were definitely looking for coming out of the gate. Good deep kickoff from Nico, but good blocking from the Calgary Dinos kickoff return team there.
Number 87, Sibley, just hitting it hard as he gets north and south, comes right in front of the Calgary bench, down the boundary, finds lots of space, gets the ball all the way back to the Calgary Dinos 49-yard line, almost in midfield, where we see Spolatini
yes.
back in at quarterback, leading the charge for the Dinos.
First and 10 here for Calgary from their own 49-yard line as Spolatini takes the reins.
Ooh.
That ball up in the air, and Marcel Laruda-Welch was all over that one.
I love the idea by the Dinos to get the quarterback out and moving. I don't love the idea of having a flood concept into the boundary, meaning they got 3 receivers in there. It's very congested, super tight windows. Young quarterback hesitates on the throw. When you hesitate on the throw, the defense is going to be there real quick. Marcel Laruda-Welch stepping up and being physical at the end of that play.
Second and 10 here for the Dinos. Spolatini onto the pistol. Looking for a receiver here, and no luck. Once again, Laruda-Welch in coverage, and not the player you want to be testing.
Yeah, like we had alluded to early in the first half there, kind of interesting that the Calgary quarterbacks, both Calgary quarterbacks have decided to take shots down that boundary side towards Marcel Laruda-Welch. But Marcel was step by step with the receiver for the Calgary Dinos, coming off late in attempting to make an interception along the sidelines, but unfortunately ran out of real estate there, setting up a Dinos punt for the opening possession of the second half.
McLean back to kick it here.
Bison setting up a return. Oh my goodness.
One heck of a boot by McLean as Madsen all the way into his own end zone, takes it out and returns it to the 11-yard line.
McLean, who averaged 45.7 yards in the first half, was absolutely bombing the ball the whole first half, continuing that right away here at the beginning of the third quarter, flipping the field position for the Calgary Dinos.
That was an absolute rocket of a punt, backing Kai all the way up to about his 2 or 3 yard line, and his momentum ended up taking him back into the end zone. And he did a good job not to take a knee, which would have been a safety. Ended up bringing the ball out, and as U Sports rules are set, when you bring the ball out of the end zone, you get the ball at the 20-yard line.
Manitoba taking possession here at the 20. Catelier fakes a handoff, goes over the middle. That one is caught, and then some. It's Kai Madsen all the way up to the Calgary 44-yard line.
Yeah, good change of pace play here from the Manitoba Bisons offense, as we had alluded to at the beginning of the half here. The Bisons have almost 200 yards on the ground in the first half. Good quick play action pass here from Dez. Waits for Kai to clear the zone, coming across the middle. Gets his foot in the ground, hits it with speed, and brings it up for about a gain of 25 yards here, setting the Bisons up from the 45-yard line.
Hand off to Stubbs here. Oh my, get off me, says Braden Stubbs. Short gain there, but could have been a loss if not for that stiff arm.
For the second time in this game, Braden Stubbs has done something spectacular and only get 2 yards. Earlier in the first half with that beautiful one-handed catch, and this time coming on that inside zone look for the Manitoba Bisons offense. Says, get off of me, as Mike alluded to the defensive lineman for the Calgary Dinos, but only getting about 2 yards.
Talier here. Looking for a man, and that one incomplete. Looking for Brett Adams, but just a little bit low. That one falls incomplete.
Dez once again doing a really good job of feeling the pressure, seeing the blitz coming from that weak side of the Calgary defense. See blitz, throw blitz, as offensive coordinator Vaughn Mitchell used to preach every day in meetings. As Dez did exactly that, seeing the ball, getting it out early, unfortunately just could not connect with his receiver, which would have had enough for the first down. And unfortunately, we're getting a punt here from the Manitoba Bisons.
Let's see if Calgary decides to be a little bit more aggressive on special teams and try to make a play to swing the momentum in the game.
Not the greatest snap there from Dolan Hills, and it comes off of Nico's foot just a little bit weird. Thankfully enough, nobody within that 5-yard halo for the Bisons, and they do a great job closing down, limiting the return for the Calgary Dinos to only about 3 or 4, setting them up 1st and 10 from their own 40.5-yard line, 41-yard line.
It's been a kind of a common theme in the first half with the Bisons as well. Dolan Hill struggling on the field goal snaps. He's had a couple good punt snaps and a couple ones that kind of dribble back to Nico or hit the ground right before Nico. Nico's doing a great job fielding the ball and getting the kickoff, but something to keep our eye on as the second half progresses and Manitoba tries to protect the lead.
Spallettini brings out the troops here, pointing to the defensive side of things. Picking out the men on that side of the ball as that one is handed off, and no gain on that one. Jordan Friesen, looks like the man that stuffed that one in the backfield. Freeze time making a big play.
Yeah, great recognition from the Manitoba Bisons defensive end there. Just seeing a basic inside zone run play from Calgary, just trying to get something going on offense. And Jordan Friesen says, no thank you. Stopping the Calgary running back for only a gain of about 3, setting up Calgary for 2nd and 7 from their own 44-yard line.
That was Javier Williams with the carry, the former Regina Ram product. I'm surprised we haven't seen Ben Abra carrying the ball, the former Saskatoon Hilltop standout, who was a big-time part of their offense last year.
Right.
Spallettini, and almost intercepted by Marcus Bachru on that play. As this Bison secondary has been all over the football in this one.
That's the second time we saw it at the end of the first half. Eric Spallettini did not see the Bison's linebacker dropping into the zone, and once again it looks like the same situation. Battery thought he could force it in. Marcus Bachru had his fingertips on it, and if he didn't touch it, I think Seb Reed may have been able to take that thing back to the house for 6. But great job by the Bison's defense to force the Calgary Dinos punt.
McLean back to punt here. He's been spectacular in that department here for the Dinos. End over end kick. Kai Madsen fields that one. He finds the edge. No yards as well. Likely going to be added onto that one.
Good job by Kai, but by just coming up to the ball and making sure he's got it in his possession and getting upfield, not doing anything too fancy, too crazy, changing directions, just getting north and south and doing his job as a returner, getting another no yards flag, getting the Bisons another additional 5 yards to set them up 1st and 10 from their own 33.
I wouldn't mind seeing the Calgary Dinos maybe look to going back to Sananis at quarterback. Spallettini's been there for a bit now. He's 0 for 5 so far since coming into the game with 1 interception, almost just threw a 2nd interception. I think it might just be happening a little bit too fast for him out there, at least with Sananis in there. He was 4 for 7. I know they weren't chewing up the yards and getting a lot of points, but at least they were getting the ball in their athletes' hands and giving their offense a chance. Can't just keep spinning your wheels like this.
Completely agree with you on that one, Ryan. Let's see what the Bisons do here on 1st and 10.
AK Kusama on the fly sweep. Gains a few. Good job by the Dinos on contain to limit the gain there. Setting up a 2nd and 7.
Yeah, as Mike had said, really good job by the Calgary Dinos defense to not really give too much up on the edges. The Bisons they came out in that 4x1 look and brought AK Kasama from the strong side to the field side for that jet sweep. And it was a good job by AK to know that he was not going to get the edge, turn it upfield and get what he could, resulting in about a 4-yard gain, setting up the Bisons on second and medium.
Tellier looking for a man there, but just a little bit outside for the intended target. That was Tristan Hutter.
Seems like Hutter kind of got his vision on the ball a little bit too late there to be able to make the adjustment in time to make the catch. Saw it, just kind of tracked a little bit late out of his break and was not able to come up with that one.
Yeah, it just looked like a timing road coming out of the backfield there for the Bisons offense. Des put that ball to where he thought his receiver was going to be. Unfortunately, as Ryan had alluded to, that Hutter just didn't see where the ball was coming into as he came out of his break, unfortunately resulting in an incomplete pass, setting up another punt for Nico DeFonte. Good clean snap this time, though.
Short punt there, fielded at the 35-yard line. And taken down right around the 43, Matt Sibley.
Host of Bisons led by Alcaraz Conway, all getting in on that one, making a big play to tackle for the Bisons, keeping them on their side of the half. Give us another chance to see this Calgary offense and see if they can get something rolling here. It's been a bit of a struggle in the first half. I'd like to see them get something going and get back into this game.
Yeah, I'm curious as to what the Calgary Dinos are going to do coming out here, if they want to try to take some more shots down the field, or if they want to continue to try to establish the running game. See if they can get momentum that way, but we'll see on this upcoming drive.
Handoff right up the middle, no dice there. Isaac Dawkins stepping up from his linebacker spot to make the tackle.
Yeah, great play by Isaac there, just recognizing the play, probably studied it on film and had Coach Stan Pierre letting him know that if we see this formation with this kind of motion, we're probably going to get a bit of an inside zone look. Isaac coming downhill with some aggression, wrapping up for a loss of 1 yard on the play. Gotta love the TFL from the MAC linebacker.
Second and 11 here for the Dinos. 4 receivers to the strong side. That play is whistled down.
Looks like a time count violation as I'm seeing zeros on the play clock in the end zone.
Nothing looks easy and nothing looks comfortable for the quarterback so far here for the Calgary Dinos. Hopefully we can do something creative, get them in a bit of a groove and get the ball moving in the right direction for this Dino squad as they try to get some momentum going back here in the second half.
Just anything. They got to try to get something going, try to build a little bit of confidence in that group, get some first downs, try to move the ball. You're taking time count penalties on 2nd and 10, setting yourself up for 2nd and 16 is not a great look.
Spallettini back to pass. That ball is caught, but it's going to be well short of the first down. Dolan Hills in to make that tackle.
Yeah, kind of an interesting play call. Good, quick, easy, safe play call there from the Calgary Dinos offense. Spallettini looking to the boundary receiver the entire way. Didn't come off of his primary read because Marcel was in off coverage, but you can play off coverage when it's 2nd down and 16 and you're only seeing a 6-yard out getting thrown. So good job by Marcel to recognize, come out, make the tackle, forcing Calgary to punt.
Well, I like that out of Marcel. In the years past, we've seen him right up on there trying to make the play, trying to make the interception. Then they get the double moves going on him. Here he's sitting back knowing he's just playing against the sticks. Let the player make the catch, run up, rally, make the tackle, make good things happen, get him punting the ball.
Another absolute rocket of a punt from the Calgary Dinos. Kai Madsen doing the smart thing, giving up the single point, giving his offense better field position up at the 35. What a kick, my goodness. Back-to-back kicks for him, just been booming.
I love that when you're on the left hash as a punting team with a right-footed punter and there's only one returner on the opposing team and they're cheating over outside the hash marks, it's a great opportunity to kick to the field. It's going to be almost impossible for the returner to get there and field that thing cleanly. Kai Madsen couldn't get there. Ball hits the turf, starts bouncing in your favor. Good things happen.
Bisons fielded out there, 35 here after the single. Take the handoff here to Anderson. Catelier looking for a man, breaks away from multiple players. Gets enough for a first down, but there is a flag in the backfield. Could be holding here. We'll wait for the call.
More than likely the situation there is Dez wanted to take a kill shot. He wanted to throw that ball downfield, but unfortunately it was a good job by the Calgary defensive secondary to cap the 2 deep receivers the Bisons had. Dez had to step up in the pocket, offensive line got a little bit out of position, ended up not being able to run their feet, and ended up taking a holding penalty, something that the offensive line coach for the Manitoba Bisons will not love.
Doesn't even count, but the escapability from Des there was unbelievable.
Fantastic.
That was something else. Dodged 3 would-be tacklers to get out of that pocket and gain what would have been first down yardage had not been for the hold.
First and long here for Manitoba. Handoff here is to Noah Anderson, but Dinos stuff that one immediately. And a late flag comes out.
A lot of laundry in this game. That looked like a good, just safe play call from the Manitoba Bisons offense, going back to their base kind of inside zone run. A little bit of an inside cutback there from, I believe, was Noah Anderson on the carry. Kind of cut right back into the defensive lineman of the Dinos, but does not seem to matter as there was another unsportsmanlike penalty on the Dinos.
That is tough for the Dinos defense. You get the Bisons taking a holding penalty, you catch them in second and long, and then you just gift them a first down. Oh boy, that's a tough one for the Dinos.
Press set here for Manitoba after that penalty.
We got a Dinos player down here right in front of the Dinos bench, number 93 it looks like.
He was coming off kind of debating if he was going to go down or not, but the coaches, I think, maybe suggested that he go down so they can make the appropriate substitutions as the Bisons are getting ready to go back on the field for 1st and 10. Seems to be a little bit of confusion all over the field as trainers are trying to bring some water out, but looks like we're going to get it whistled in here, and the Bisons are going to get ready to go 1st and 10 from their 45-yard line.
Noah Anderson has been the primary lead back for Manitoba over the last few drives. He gets the handoff here. Nearly broke that one.
Yeah, right back to the play we saw just a few plays ago. Bisons are in that coming from the inside zone to the short side of the field. Good bread and butter play from anybody's offense in this conference. Noah stretched it out just a little bit, put his foot in the ground to go north-south, and he was once again a shoelace away from taking that thing for bigger yards, but you can never complain about 7 yards on first down, setting up 2nd and 3.
Catelier fakes the handoff, and that is going nowhere. Read right away by the Dinos, and that's going to be a sack on the play.
Go ahead, Ryan.
Great job by the Calgary defense. Defensive coordinator Matthew Barry dialing up the pressure here, coming off the edge. Looked like it was almost a cover 0 look as they got runners coming off, secondary players joining into the pressure. Tough job. Des Catelier decides to pull that ball there. As soon as he does that, he's basically in no man's land as there's 2 unblocked Calgary defenders there waiting for him.
That was Evan Porku with the sack out of Notre Dame Powerhouse School there in Calgary.
That's a play Coach Corey Wallbauer will be letting Des know about. When in doubt, just give. Let your running back try to make a play. I know it wasn't ideal with 2 free rushers coming, but sometimes you just got to give the ball to the running back, even on 2nd and 10. Ooh.
Flag on the far side here as Dinos return that punt up to the 30.
Looked like they actually had something decently set up there, and it was a great job by Sibley again, breaking tackles on the return, trying to create some great positive yardage, but I fear this flag is in the neighborhood of a penalty, like a hold on the return team.
Interesting is the head official signaling a hold on the Bisons, then an illegal block on the Dinos, and I believe those will be offsetting, but I could be wrong.
I think they'll back them up 5.
Back them up 5. There you go. No, we're going back 10. Let's see what head referee JP Chorty has to say here.
Oh yeah, go back to where the ball was caught. First down for the Dinos.
There you go. The Dinos are back out in their triangle kind of bunch formation to the field to see what kind of look we get out of here. It's been a lot of passing, or sorry, excuse me, a lot of running looks in the first half.
Spolatini. Fly sweep here, looking to get some yardage, and that one looks to be a short gain there. Tristan Francis pulled his arm out there to grab the jersey of the carrier Zach Smith on that one.
Good athletic play there from Tristan Francis to recognize the jet sweep coming across. Just sticking his big hand out, and the attack on those gloves probably gets the assist on that tackle as he got just enough of the Calgary Dinos receiver. As you can see him readjusting his shoulder pads in the huddle here. Almost took his jersey clean off with that tackle.
We haven't seen the Calgary offense attack the strong side of the field too much today, so it's nice to see them at least trying to get back over there, try to find some space for their athletes.
Spolatini back to pass, and that ball is nearly intercepted once again by Dolan Hills.
Dolan Hills sitting back in his zone, kind of reading Spolatini like a book. From what I could see from up here, it didn't look like Spolatini really looked away from his primary read, looking to the field the entire time, waiting for his receiver to clear, and I don't think he saw Dolan Hills underneath coverage at all. Great play to knock that ball down by Dolan, and it would have been one heck of a play if he was able to pull it down for the interception, but setting the Dinos up to punt here on 3rd and 5.
Chris McLean once again showing off the leg. A bright point in this game for Calgary as Madsen fields that one near his 30.
Great job by Kai Madsen to track that ball, make a great hands catch, try to get back whatever he could. Unfortunately, not much real estate there for him to be had.
Calgary Dinos bench just a little bit upset. They thought there was a hold on the boundary side there from the Manitoba punt return team player there, but all for naught as the referee did not agree with him, did not throw the flag, setting the Bisons up here 1st and 10 from their own 29-yard line.
Catelier, swing pass out of the backfield there. That is caught for a fresh set of downs and then some. And that is Brent Adams once again making his presence felt here with a big day for Manitoba.
Brent already had 4 catches for 65 yards in the first half. Just adding to that tally, he's been Dez's favorite target so far this afternoon. Just keeps making good every time he touches the ball.
Yeah, really good recognition by Dez. It looked like the free safety there came on a blitz for the Dinos. Dez saw the blitz, realized there was going to be only 2 guys out to the boundary, got the ball into his playmaker's hands, resulting in a first down. Oh, good play fake.
Tellier fakes the handoff there and finds Braden Smith, who stays on his feet. That's once again going to move the chains, the Miles Mack product, with the reception here.
As this game progresses, Dez is becoming more and more comfortable in this offensive backfield, settling everything down. Really good play action fake. Fooled everybody in that front 6, front 7 for the Calgary Dinos. Got them all going to their defensive right, the offensive left. Dez pulled the ball down, got the ball out. Good, clean, easy throw to move the sticks. Great play all around for the Bisons offense.
Single back is Stubbs here. He takes that one, and once again, absolutely massive gain on first down there for the Vincent Massey product, who's having his best career day rushing the ball for Manitoba. Over 100 yards for the first time as a Bison. 107 yards entering halftime, and he's added to that total here.
Calgary again going with that light box. They're depending on defenders to be able to 2-gap, meaning they can cancel out 2 gaps in the run game. Unfortunately, being overwhelmed by this Bison front right now, not able to do it, so we're seeing massive running lanes for these running backs. Stubbs does a great job breaking tackles to get more yards after contact.
Anderson, the ball carrier, this time he breaks away from 1 tackler, and he's up near a first down marker.
Just keep letting the big boys on that Manitoba Bison's offensive line eat. Keep running that ball downhill. Noah Anderson, once again, similar to Braden Stubbs' running style, being a little bit patient, waiting for the holes to set up. Good cutback against the green, got his foot in the ground, pushed it north and south, and ended up moving the change for the Bison's offense. And Dez is getting ready to go. He is fired up. He wants to get another play. He wants to keep going here.
Excuse me, go ahead, Carl.
Noah Anderson just dragging 3 red jerseys with him to make sure he got past that 10 yards for the first down for the Bisons.
Bisons had 230 last time these 2 teams played. They're over that total now here today. So once again, the ball goes to Noah Anderson, and good patience there. Steals that one and gains nearly 9 on that play.
I feel like a broken record here, but once again, really good patient run from Noah Anderson. Slow 2, fast through the hole. as the Bison coaching staff used to preach in practice when I was on the team. Great patient run, good job by the big boys up front, resulting in yet another first down on the ground as the Bisons continue to rack up the yards on the ground.
Bisons at
free safety's
the
coming again.
15-yard line. Brent Adams takes this one, looking to make a defender miss, stays on his feet. He'll be up near the first down marker for Manitoba.
I'm very curious if offensive coordinator on 2 late flags. Looks like they might be on the Calgary Dinos based on Brent Anderson as he came out of the bottom of that pile there. But once again, the Calgary Dinos brought their free safety down low, brought him into a blitz look. Des saw it. Des got the ball out of his hand into his playmaker's hands. And Adams did a fantastic job of making one guy miss, pushing the ball downfield, getting a first down. And it looked like the Dinos took another penalty, which is going to give the Bisons the ball first and goal on the 1. And we see the big boys come in for the Manitoba Bisons short yardage unit. Jackson Tuchinski will be at quarterback, scrimmaging first and goal from the 1.5-yard line.
This is why coaches love good veteran quarterbacks like this. Des Gatelier recognizing the pressure, the cover 0 look, just quickly gets out of the run play that was called, throws the quick swing pass to Brent Adams, let him be an athlete in space. They know they got one-on-ones out there. Let him work against them, and Brent Adams, terrific job fighting for the extra yards to ensure the first down, and then draws the penalty and does not react to it. Terrific play.
Love to see that, and let's see what the Bisons are going to do in the short yardage look here.
Fake handoff. Tuchinski rolls to his right. He's got a little bit of space, but he is not going to get there. Great traction by that Calgary defense.
Wow, when he turned the corner, I thought he was going to walk into the end zone. Unbelievable job by that Calgary defense to rally to the ball and make the stop just short of the goal line here on Jackson Tuchinski.
So you can kind of see at the beginning of that replay, there was some motion coming in from Matunga for the Bisons offense. He got a little bit of a pick. He would have been into the flats, but unfortunately he wasn't available. As Ryan had said, I thought Jackson had the edge, but great play from the Calgary Dinos as they were able to pursue, wrap him up for no gain, but unfortunately it looks like we have another Calgary Dinos player down.
That was Owen Porku who made the tackle. He's having a strong second half with that sack as well. Stepping up big here with some key injuries in that linebacking core for the Dinos. Liam Reed, Daniel Flanagan not playing today.
Yeah, that was an incredible job just tracking the play all the way across the field and no quit on it. It is easy when you are down 25-4 to just quit on it and let the opposition walk in the end zone. He's fighting, and that's what you love to see out of this young defense. You know, they don't have all the wily vets that they've had in years past. They're playing a lot of younger players who are 20 years old or younger on that defense. You just want to see this sort of fight, this sort of compete level out of them. That was a terrific job by him to fly across the field and make the play.
See what the Bisons decide to do here on second and goal from the 1, and maybe potentially be in 3-down territory, being only 1 yard away from 6 points. Coming back out in that big goal line formation once again. Offensive line leans into their 4-point stance.
Tuchinski going off tackle again here. Fighting for the end zone. We'll see.
What
He's
an effort. What a solo effort from Jackson Tuchinski. Just refusing to go down, as you see on the replay here. The Calgary Dinos kind of even pre-pointed as the receiver came in. They thought that it was going to go outside. They had 3-4 players that have an opportunity to make this play, but fortunately for the Bisons, Jackson just said, no, I am scoring a touchdown.
Taylor Young and Boscheman both meeting Jackson Tuchinski right before the goal line. Good shots on Jackson Tuchinski. I thought they were going to be able to hold him out of the end zone, but Jackson's will on the second and third effort to fight across that goal line and ensure.
Nico DeFonte in for the extra point here, as Manitoba increases their lead 32-4.
Another Dino player looks to be either cramping or down on the field, as they've had a slew of players go down with injuries throughout this entire football game. But good news here for 44 is he's able to run off under his own power. As we get a look at Jackson Tuchinski on the sideline, getting some love from his fellow teammates here, as he just, as Ryan alluded to, they refused to go down, going through 3-4 different tacklers for the Calgary Dinos, getting himself into the end zone for 6 points on a homecoming Saturday in front of a great crowd here on the campus at the University of Manitoba.
It's tough with all these injuries we're starting to see with the Calgary Dinos. particularly on defense. When you got your road roster, you don't have a lot of bodies available off the bench. You got to make sure you're trying to stay as healthy as possible to get you through the end of the game. A lot of the players that are going down are playing key roles on special teams, and we all know games can flip on a dime real quick when special teams are involved.
Very, very true, and it looks like we're going to get Spolatini once again coming back to lead the Calgary Dinos offense. We'll see if we'll get a little bit of a different look from their offense, or if they're just going to keep kind of doing what they've been doing and hope for some better results as Nico lines up to kick off after the Bisons touchdown.
That's certainly been a talking point in this one, was the decision of the Dinos coaching staff to go with Matteo Spolatini for the remainder of this game. Came in midway through the second for Daniel Sinanis, and has not necessarily had the day he would like passing the football in this one. And I know, Carhart, that was a decision that maybe you would not have made if you were in that position personally.
Yeah, I know the offense wasn't exactly chewing up a lot of yards, but I liked the short glimpses I saw out of Sinanis there in the first half, and I was kind of hoping they kind of stick with him, let him get into a bit of a groove. It was his first start at the U Sports level. Give him at least the whole first half to kind of figure his way through it. There's going to be nerves, there's going to be ups and downs and ebbs and flows in the games. Let him work through that stuff. Let's see what we got with him. Instead, they pulled the chute real quick, and we haven't seen Spolatini be able to get this offense in any sort of rhythm since he's been in.
Fake handoff here by Spolatini, looking for a man. He's got him open, but just in and out of the hands of Zach Smith, who had a step.
There's the shot play that you love to see as a Calgary Dinos fan. Finally getting a little bit of life out of your offense. Just a straight, good play action pass look, waiting for his, looked like the number 2 receiver to the field, just running a nice, shallow, high poster out there. And about maybe a yard or two, just too much air on that ball from Spolatini, but giving his playmaker an opportunity to try to make a play, which is good if you're a fan of the Calgary Dinos, seeing some sort of life from this offense.
Second down here, Spolatini, back to pass, incomplete there, as Isaac Dawkin, as well as Stephen Adamopoulos in to break that one up.
Yeah, kind of an interesting decision there from Spolatini. Forced the ball into coverage kind of once again. Not really sure what he saw as he's coming off the field talking to his fellow quarterback there, but great coverage from the Bisons defensive backs and linebackers, and good pressure up front from the defensive line. Great forcing of a 2-and-out from the Manitoba Bisons defense here, getting the ball back into their really, really hot offense's hands.
Madsen fields that one at his own 30. Steps out of bounds there.
Boy, have we seen a lot of flags today. It's ugly on both sides. Both sides have been committing a lot of penalties. The Bison started off with a lot. Then the Dinos kind of took a lot of penalties there in the middle. And now both teams are kind of just exchanging penalties at the moment. I'd like to see a little bit of a cleaner game. Seems like every time we get a punt, we're getting some sort of laundry on the field.
Although this one was picked up, and we are just going to scrimmage. Manitoba Bisons, will scrimmage from their own 34-yard line on their favorite left hash going out to start this drive.
Catelier, empty backfield here. Stubbs now motions behind him in the pistol. Going to be offside here on the Dinos as once again Braden Stubbs breaks away. Career game for Stubbsy. Deuce having himself a memorable one. The Vincent Massey product. Carhart, you know him well, coached him at the provincial team level.
Yeah, absolutely wonderful, versatile running back. He can do it all. He's a great running attack, obviously. He catches the ball super well out of the backfield and can protect the quarterback. He does a lot of great things from that running back spot. Love to see him getting this much playing time and getting the ball this much. And building off of that, Des Catelier, using the snap account all day long to throw off this Calgary defense.
Yeah, knowing historically, as we had mentioned kind of off the jump in this game, that Calgary likes to blitz quite a bit, and Des doing a really good job mixing up the snap count, drawing a lot of offsides from that defensive line and secondary.
Once again, Stubbs looks to find the corner, breaks away from one player, but a great open field tackle to negate that one from going further is Chris Mushenza, the Winnipeg product on the Grant Park, making the tackle there.
Braden Stubbs watching this one on tape. I can already see the film room where the coaches put the play on and they're going to freeze it about one step after Stubbs gets the ball and he realizes if he would just look north and south and cut back to that backside A gap, there was nothing left on that Calgary defense. He strung it out to the play side. I know you're supposed to push it there, but a little bit of vision there. He could have cut that thing back and had a big play for the Bisons who've been running downhill.
Yeah, Ryan saw that one from the jump. As soon as Stubbs decided to try to press that one to the field, there was a lot of room, a lot of real estate if he just pushed that ball north and south. Kind of stuck to the backside, but hey, that's why you watch film and you can learn from those mistakes and kind of build off of that. I mean, you can't really fault the guy. He did get 2 or 3 yards on first down, which is pretty good. But when it's 1st and 5, you want to try to be able to get a few more yards than that.
So we got a 28-point game as we head into the 4th quarter. Mike, Tyler, I'm interested in your thoughts. At what point do you start considering pulling Des Catelier and putting Jackson Tuchinski in there to get some reps here in this game, or are you going to keep Des Catelier in there for the duration of the game? Where do you guys lie on this one?
That's a great question, Carhut. I think that, I mean, if I was offense coordinator Von Mitchell, I'd probably go with Jackson Tuchinski in this situation. Again, this game is, I don't want to say completely under reach, but it's a large lead for the Bisons here. And, you know, Jackson Tuchinski certainly, you know, is a more than capable quarterback, started a number of games last year with Des down, and this will be his team at the end of this season. And this is, I don't want to think too far into the future. Obviously, we still have the back half of the season to go, but, you know, Jackson Tuchinski will go into next season as theoretically the starter for this team when Des Catelier graduates. So, you know, the more reps you get him, the better, but obviously, I'm not Von Mitchell, so we'll see what he says. What do you think, Tyler?
I completely agree with you here. I would assume that after this drive, we're going to see Jackson come into the game and take over the reins as quarterback. I completely understand the decision to keep Des in here as the drive has been progressing. You don't really want to pull a quarterback in the middle of a drive unless you absolutely have to. So let's see what happens on this offensive drive here for the Bisons. But if I was to look into that crystal ball, play fortune teller, my guess is the next time that the Manitoba Bisons offense comes onto the field, there'll be 1-4 at quarterback instead of 1-2.
And I'll flip to the Calgary side of the ball. I know, Tyler, that last drive, they had that deep throw that was almost a home run or almost a big-time splash play for them. To be honest, I didn't love the play call. At this point, your offense has just been going 2-and-out this whole half. I'm not even sure Calgary has earned a first down yet this half. I want to see something a little bit more creative. We've seen Spolatini run with the ball. I'd like to see them move him out of the pocket, shorten those throws down for him, make the game a little bit easier for him, make the nice big windows wide open, get his eyes up to the receivers. I want to see them be a little bit more creative, make some easy catches and throws for him to get them rolling on offense.
Might host this.
Braden Stubbs coming out of the backfield once more, and a huge gain for Deuce.
Sorry, as I kind of cut Mike off there. Ryan was pointing to the far side of the field as there's yet another flag on the field, but Des, I could hear his cadence from up here in the booth. Good hard count, went on 2. Once again, got the Calgary linebacker to jump, but what a run by Stubbsy to go read the blocks, and there was nobody in that defensive secondary, and he was inches away from once again taking that thing to the house. I'm sure he wants to score a touchdown. Bad, real bad at this point, considering how close he has been on multiple touches throughout the first 3 quarters of this game.
And Stubbs is zeroing in on 200 yards. He had 125 yards coming into the 4th quarter, added a huge gain there to the total.
Took the words out of my mouth there, Carhead, as I am currently, as we are speaking, looking up the statistics all time for single game rushing yards as Braden Stubbs continues to churn them out here for a Manitoba rushing attack. And again, I'll have to look this one up too. This is pushing up on as we go through the stats here. Unbelievable. 125 for Stubbs, 73 for Noah Anderson, 19 for Catelier, and then 15 for Deshaun Lejour, for a grand total of 256 rushing yards on the day for the Bisons.
It is wild to look at this statistics sheet and see that Noah Anderson has the lowest yards per carry at 8.1 yards a carry. Stubbsy himself with 8.9. When you're averaging 8 yards a carry on offense, you are definitely doing something right. For the about 15th time, I will be shouting out the big boys up front for the Manitoba Bisons. That offensive line is moving bodies, and they are doing a great job to open up holes for both Stubbsy and Anderson.
So just to carry on to the conversation here, rushing yards in a game, the record is held by Dominic Zagari, one of the best to ever do it for the Bisons. He's all over this record sheet. 308 yards was the record in 95 against Alberta. So I don't think we're going to see Stubbs get to that total, but certainly still having a career day as Jackson Tuchinski goes off tackle there. fresh set of downs for the Bisons. Just looking at the top 9 totals, Dominic Zagari, 308 to lead, and then 283 second as well as his from 94 against UBC. Then Craig Carr had 259 in 99 against, in 99 as well as 251 in 97. Those are coming against Regina and Alberta respectively. James Girardi 249 in 08. Anthony Coombs 226 and 223. So,
I was waiting for you to say Anthony Coombs' name.
As Stubbs takes this carry, makes a few players miss, and once again a big gain for Stubbsy.
I feel like the fans at home are going to get a little tired of my analysis here, but once again, Manitoba's offensive line doing a great job moving bodies downfield, and Stubbsy just being real patient, as you can see on the replay, literally putting his hand on the back of his left guard, Ryder Klosowski, waiting for something to open up downfield as they continue to ride those big bodies downfield and push up for about a gain of 9, setting up 2nd and 1 as we see Jackson come into the game. What presumably will be another quarterback sneak.
Rookie left tackle Gio Vaccaro just paving the way there for Braden Stubbs. He's the younger brother of the center, Mateo Vaccaro, as well for the Manitoba Bisons. Unbelievable job by that left side, just getting pushed vertical down the field, pushing back this Calgary front and giving these running backs all sorts of space to operate in, where they are incredibly dangerous.
Love to see it. As a former offensive lineman, former center, this is a game that I like to call quite a bit. We're closing in on potentially getting close to 300 yards rushing for the Bisons offense, as after 3 quarters they had 256. So we'll see what happens here if Jackson decides to take it off the left side. It looks like he's got a little bit of real estate there, and he will. Refusing to go down yet again, getting the push from his big boys up front as they ride him straight into the end zone. Jackson stays on his feet, scores a touchdown. Let's go have a party in the end zone for the Manitoba Bisons offense. What a drive, capped off yet again from the backup quarterback, Jackson Tuchinski, seeing off that left edge, going right behind Gio Vaccaro, as Ryan had just alluded to. Great block by Stubbsy, seeing the linebacker coming across, and look at the big boys help their quarterback get into the end zone. You absolutely love to see it as a fan of the Manitoba Bisons.
Ishe Matanga and Braden Stubbs absolutely working like dogs out there, pushing this Calgary front back. I love what we're seeing out of these guys, doing it in all facets of the game to ensure that absolute unit, Jackson Tuchinski, can push his way into that end zone for another Manitoba Bison major.
We get another look here at Jackson on the sidelines, giving some love to his offensive lineman up front. I mean, when you run the ball for close to 300 with 11 minutes and 45 seconds left in the game, we got to be coming up on a record. But was that just single game performances, Mike? What about all-time record just for rushing yards in a game for the Bisons?
Yes, that's a great question, Tyler.
As I make you look to do your job even more, I guess I should continue to talk because you're on the computer. But what an effort there. That entire drive was just fantastic. I don't even know, did the Bisons even throw the ball there, or was it all along the ground? Ryan is shaking his head saying no, and it was all on the ground. I mean, as an offense, if you can just run the ball and score touchdowns, I mean, your quarterback and receivers might not love it, but as receivers and as a team, as a unit, you love to score touchdowns and have parties in the end zone. So regardless of who's getting it done, if it's on the ground, through the air or not, the Manitoba Bisons' offense here is having a field day as they get lined up to kick off after yet another touchdown, leading 39-4 with 11:45 left.
Dinos offense failing to get a first down in that third quarter. They are more than 400 yards behind the Manitoba Bisons offense. They have yet to break the 100-yard mark on the day. Hoping to see something out of the Dino offense on this drive to get a little creativity and a little life back into this team.
So, unfortunately, as I was going through the archives of Bison football history here, there is no team rushing stat total, unfortunately, available at this very second in time. However, I am certainly going to say that this is up near the all-time best for Manitoba in terms of total team stats. We'll look to get confirmation for the viewers in terms of where this number ranks, but just going into the fourth quarter, Bisons were at 256 on the ground prior to that run-heavy drive there.
Which is wild because Calgary's defense coming in was only given about 80 yards on the ground per game. Their defense was weaker in the defensive secondary, giving up a lot of yards in the air, but the Bisons decided to make a statement and run the ball kind of at will. As Spolatini did not see anything he liked, rolled around a little bit and just threw the ball away to check down into 2nd down and 10 here.
Calgary offense keeps looking to try to make something happen into the boundary side of the Bison defense. Unfortunately, they've had very little success on that side of the field so far today. I'd like to see them do something here, get Spolatini moving toward the field side a little bit, maybe a little boot action, get him rolling out, get him throwing on the run. Let's see what happens.
Good blitz pickup. Really good blitz pickup from the Calgary tailback there as Isaac Dawkin came through on the blitz. And good job by Spolatini to get the ball out. Unfortunately, it's only going to be about a gain of 6-7 yards. And it's going to result in what looks to be yet another punt from the Calgary Dinos.
That was a nice job by Spolatini, though. Good timing. Catch, step, throw. Throws that absolute laser out there to the short side of the field. Unfortunately, the route combination did not get them past the sticks. Bring on the punting unit.
Yeah, but you like to see that, though. Good confident throw from Spolatini, seeing that there's going to be a blitz, stepping into the throw, getting the ball out of his hand. Definitely something to build on. Not the greatest of punts here for the Dinos as Kai Madsen picks it up. Makes a couple guys miss, falls forward for about a gain of 2, and once again, there's a flag on the play.
I feel like McLean was due to have one bad punt today. He's averaging 50.2 yards per punt so far on his 8 punts. Absolutely just bombing the ball. At some point, he has to show us he's a human, and I think it just happened.
I'm going to have to do some quick math here, but at the end of 3 quarters, there was 402 yards of punting from McLean, and the Bison offense had a total of 433. So the Bisons only outgained the Calgary punter by 33 yards through 3 quarters of the game. Absolute monster game for the Calgary punter, getting the ball off of his foot. Looks like that penalty was against the Bisons as their offense has to back up here to about the 30. And as predicted, I was correct. Jackson Chichinski looks to be at the reins probably for the rest of this game here for the Manitoba Bisons offense. Getting some meaningful reps here with 10.5 minutes left in the game.
39-4 here with 10:30 left in the game. Chichinski starting on the left hash, 30-yard line. Takes the snap, pulls it up from the running back, looks at the receiver, takes off for a run. Late flag coming down. Jackson tries to slide to protect himself. We'll check and see what the flag's for.
I'm not sure if that's going to be a UR. That flag came out a little bit before the slide. It might have been a hold, potentially, as we get a look here on the replay. Yeah, if I was to guess, I'd say there's going to be a hold against Gio Vaccaro on the edge as Jackson tried to take that around the edge. A little bit of a tough look for your left tackle, being in a little bit of no man's land. And as we see JP Shorty talk to the Calgary defense, I believe I'm correct in assuming that it's going to be a hold against the Bisons. One of the few faults for Gio Vaccaro today, who's having himself a career day in only his 4th university start here for the Bisons.
We've seen this a couple times the last 2 weeks, though, from the Bisons. When the quarterback escapes the pocket, the tackles kind of panic a little bit, showing their inexperience, grab a little bit extra cloth and getting flagged for it. Hopefully they can clean that up. We got first down and 20, sorry.
Jackson staying with that hard count, ending up resulting in yet another offside from the Calgary defense. Ooh. Taking a shot downfield, knowing he had a free play. Had Lejeune had a little bit of real estate. Good play for Jackson to get his hips around and throw the ball, give himself an opportunity. But they're going to get 5 yards up here and be able to reset on 1st and 15, which is still not an ideal place to be.
Nice play, though, by Jackson. Using that hard count that we saw Des Coutelier use all day long. Getting that free play, recognizing it, extending the play with his legs, getting his eyes deep downfield, trying to make something big happen on that free play, knowing that if it doesn't work out, they're still going to be in first down. Now, instead of first and 20, they're back to 1st and 15 on the Bison 25-yard line.
It looks like the Bisons have rotated in a couple of backup offensive linemen as the right tackle and right guard have been replaced here by Rojas and Cardinal.
Joel Cardinal out of the Edmonton Husky program of the PFC.
Ooh. As we showed him out, he gets beat on a little bit of an inside rush there from the defensive end by the Calgary Dinos. Just a little bit. Couldn't get his second step in the ground fast enough. Got a little bit of a backdoor. Not something that Coach Jeff Reddy of the offensive line will like, but something you can definitely build off of. And hey, sometimes the defense just wins. Good play up front by the Calgary Dinos.
Porky with another great play by that Calgary defensive front. Flying around, making all sorts of plays this half, as Mike Still pointed out earlier in the game. One of the first times we've seen a Bison running back getting caught behind the line of scrimmage. We got 2nd and long here. Jackson from the gun. Bisons go to the draw play. We got flags down, whistles blowing. What'd you see, Tyler?
Well, I saw a lot of movement. I saw some jumping, but typically if it's blown dead, that isn't an indication of it being a false start, illegal procedure penalty. Although it was a result of a Calgary defensive lineman or linebacker jumping into the neutral zone, drawing the Manitoba Bisons offside. So we're going to go up again, Bisons will set themselves up, and once again, second and extra line at 2nd and 14. Kind of a weird penalty-aided last few plays here as we were in 1st and 20, 2nd and 20. Now we're back into 2nd and 14. Let's see what the Bisons can do here on offense with Jackson at the helm in a 4-by-1 set.
So much has happened in the last 4 plays, yet nothing has happened in the last 4 plays. Jackson here again from the gun. Draw play to Von Lloyd. Von Lloyd looking to make something happen, gets across the 30-yard line and brought down by the Calgary Dino defense, short of a Bison first down by about 8 yards or so, bringing on the Bison punting unit.
Yeah, just a good safe play. I think Von Mitchell, the Bison's offensive coordinator, was kind of just getting tired of what's going on with all the flags and just said, hey, you know what, let's call draw on 2nd and extra long. If Von Lloyd can bust it, great. If not, let's punt. We're up. The Bisons are up 35 points here. Not the end of the world when you only get 6 yards on a draw, but setting up another punt for Nico DeFonte. Let's see how this snap is from Dolan Hills and see if the Dinos decide to bring any pressure, maybe get a spark.
It feels like number 23 might have had a chance there for the Dinos. Kind of quit on the rush. He was unblocked coming off of the left or the right side edge of the Bison's punt team. Von Lloyd and company getting downfield, making noise on the punt return, tackling the Dinos returner quickly right in front of the Bison bench.
And for what it feels like the first time in a long time, there is actually no flags on the play here as the Calgary Dinos get the scrimmage from their 43-yard line. And I believe Spolatini, yes, it is still Spolatini in a quarterback.
Great play by Nick Conway, making the returner stop his feet. Usually the rule is you make that returner stop his feet once, the cavalry will arrive and the return is going to be over. Great job by Nick Conway, even though he didn't get the tackle, making the returner stop his feet and redirect.
Absolutely.
Gentlemen, I'm back on the call here after trying to find some archive statistics about rush yards. I can't confirm the total number, but I can help out with a little bit of context here. So I'm sure that you gentlemen remember the 7 OT game against Alberta. Yes. From a number of, well, not that long ago, really.
Ryan would have been on the sidelines for that game.
Yeah, 2016. You remember that game fondly, I'm sure. Well, maybe not fondly, but certainly was up there in terms of memorable contests. That game saw the Bisons rush for 398 yards, and that is only the 4th most amount of rushing yards in a single game for the team. So I don't believe that they will eclipse that number today, but it'll certainly be one for the record books either way in terms of top 10 numbers for team rushing yards.
Great play here by Calgary's offense to start it off. They get Sibley to the wide side of the field open. We've seen him be dangerous in the return game so far. Great job by Spolatini to get the ball out to him early, throw it in rhythm, let him catch the ball in space and make something happen after the catch. Dino's moving here already into Bison territory on the 50-yard line.
Yeah, you love to see that as a Calgary Dinos fan. Spolatini setting his feet, seeing his receiver pretty open in the flat and the underneath coverage for the Bisons kind of fell off. Got the ball into his playmaker's hands, getting him a good chunk on first down. Back to the air here again, just a little bit of a miscue from Spolatini. Looked to be about a timing out. Don't know if Spolatini got his feet set in time, but ball sailed on him, kind of fell in between 2 different Calgary Dinos receivers as they're out towards the field side there.
I was going to say, it looked like Spolatini changed his mind halfway through there, but what it looks like is that the receivers had a miscue as 2 receivers, Calgary slot backs, ran the same route. Spolatini went over there pretty emphatically after the throw, directing traffic, trying to make sure that they clean that up going forward.
Second down here for the Dinos. Spolatini looking to create something for his side. Jack Schaefer on the rush as he goes deep here, and that ball is intercepted by Sebastian Reed, making amends for the earlier interception that was negated due to penalty. There's no flags on the play, and the former Calgary Dino gets up and takes one away there. What a play.
He read that thing like a book, as we're going to see on the replay here. Sebastian Reed's playing on the boundary side. There's just a go route from the number 2 receiver. Spolatini does a great job to buy some time. Takes a shot. The ball's a little bit underthrown. Seb Reed steps underneath it. Makes an absolutely incredibly athletic play to come out with an interception. I'm sure he would have wanted the other 2 to count earlier in the first half, but he will definitely take that one.
It looked like that ball might get over Sebastian Reed's head, but showing off his incredible athleticism, climbing the ladder to catch that one and snag it out of the air.
Handoff here as Looks to be Ishe Matanga getting that carry. Gains about 3. Excuse me, it's Noah Anderson there. Gain of 3 on the play.
Yeah, just going back to something nice and simple for the Bisons offense, just running a nice inside zone play. It's been working a lot for them today. I was told not to say if it ain't broke, don't fix it so much this broadcast, as I used it quite a bit last week, so I'm not going to use that one again, but good play for the Bisons offense. I mean, you're only getting 3 yards on first down, which isn't ideal, but setting up for 2nd and 7 here, scrimmaging from their own 18-yard line.
Handoff once again here, and plenty of space for Vaughn Lloyd. Up the gut.
What a fantastic run for Vaughn Lloyd, setting his offensive line up for success, as we're going to get a replay here soon. But really good patient run. It looked like Vaughn Lloyd was going to take that one out to the sidelines as he waited for the linebacker for Calgary to overflow it, decided to put his foot in the ground, come right back up north and south, cut right underneath it. And good run on 2nd and 7 to move the sticks for the Bison's offense. Scrimmaging now from their 30-yard line.
Looking for, I believe that was Brent Adams, the intended target there, but that throw just high from Tuchinski.
Yeah, the Calgary Dinos decided to bring a little bit of pressure, as they tend to do on their defensive schemes after they gave up a 2nd and 7 run conversion. They brought a few extra guys. Jackson saw the pressure, decided to pull the ball down on that RPO. Just didn't quite get the ball to where he wanted it to be, a little bit high for Brent Adams, who decided to got his hand on the ball, but was anticipating a bit of a hit, so wasn't able to come up with that reception there for his offense.
Tuchinski with pressure in his face. He gets it away. What a play there from Jackson Tuchinski with pressure. And he finds his fellow Vincent Massey and Anavet's Bowl champion alum, Vaughn Lloyd there. There's about 6 or 7 players on this Manitoba team that have important roles that are all products of that Vincent Massey Anavet's Bowl championship roster from 2018.
Definitely looked like a little bit of a bust in protection from the Bison's offensive line, as the right tackle decided to go out and block the linebacker, leaving the defensive end to come through clean. But Jackson does a great job finding Vaughn Lloyd sitting alone in the flats, able to get the ball out before taking a sack and moving the sticks for the Bison's offense. Great looking drive here as the Bisons hand the ball off once again inside to Noah Anderson. Great spin to try to get a little bit extra yardage, only able to get about 2. But good job just to get that ball north and south once again from Noah Anderson. Put his foot in the ground. Had to make a little bit of a move there to spin. Ended up getting only about a result of 3 yards on the play. But that play from Jackson on the play prior, from feeling all that pressure in his face, having a clean rusher from a defensive end, be able to set his feet and find his receiver on the flat, that is something you love to see as a Manitoba Bisons fan.
Noah Anderson has also gone over his career high in terms of rushing yards in a game. Coming into this game, it was 73. He has eclipsed that here today. So Stubbs and Anderson both with career bests against the Dinos in this one.
2 straight plays by number 23, Machenza, for the Calgary Dinos here, finishing plays violently on the defensive side of the ball. The Grant Park product out here flying around, being physical in this contest.
As a fellow Grant Park alum myself, always nice to see a few Pirates out there making plays, raise the flag. Machenza all over the place. He's been with Saskatchewan in the past, also with the Valley Huskers. Was a receiver as well in high school, played both ways for Grant Park, was very valuable for them in terms of their overall success at the Division I level. Another name we haven't called really much today is Jordan Chisda, defensive back also from Grant Park in the starting secondary for the Dinos.
Also a former member of the Valley Huskers of the BCFC. A couple of Bison alumni, Bobby Reese and Blair Atkinson out there coaching that team, bringing it back to a very strong competitive team in that BCFC conference.
So once again, the Calgary Dinos offense comes out, and it is still number 7 Spolatini in at quarterback.
Well, it's clear they're just going to go with it the rest of the way. Kind of surprised by the decision, but at the same time, coaches will argue that they know best, so I'll subside to them.
Only about 2 minutes and 40 seconds left in this ball game. Dinos decide to run the ball here on first down, only getting about a gain of 1.5, maybe 2 yards on a basic inside zone run. Feels like the Calgary coaching staff may want to just run the ball, try to get out of here and get back on the play and get back into Calgary, get back into the film room and reload for next week.
Good to see out there making his, I think his D-line debut this year is Maxwell Fisher from the Edmonton Wildcats. He's a backup offensive and defensive lineman, played D-line for the Edmonton Wildcats, converted his last year in junior over to the offensive side of the ball from Darcy Park's program out there in Edmonton, getting some reps in here on the defensive side.
Good grab there for Gobdang. Excuse me, Tyler, go ahead.
I was going to say, good ball there from Spolatini. Saw the off coverage there from the Manitoba Bisons secondary. Knew that Gobdang was running that quick bang out route. Got the ball out of his hands quick, moved the chains for his team. Getting a little bit of momentum here. Let's see if the Calgary Dinos can do anything with only 2:16 left on the clock.
Dang, leading all Dinos with 4 catches now on the day. But not a lot of yardage in that regard. Just 3 catches for 8 yards coming in.
There we go. I like it. Go to the wide side of the field, get the ball in athlete's hands in space. A flag deep in the secondary here. We'll sort out what that penalty is going to be for.
It's in the vicinity of illegal contact, if I was to guess. But yeah, like Ryan had alluded to there, good throw from Spolatini, seeing the receiver open, kind of in the flat side or the wide side of the field. Really long throw in the Canadian field. Thrown from the left hash all the way over to the right side numbers. But yeah, like I said, good job by him to get the ball out, move the sticks, and I believe it was an illegal contact penalty that's more than likely going to be declined.
Marcus Bakru guilty as charged on that one with the illegal contact downfield from the Sam linebacker position. Calgary first down on the right hash, just past the 51-yard line, trying to get across the field and into Bison territory.
This has probably been one of their better drives of the second half. Unfortunately, it's coming with only 2 minutes left to go in the ball game, but let's see if the Calgary offense can get anything going here against this vaunted Bison defense.
Spolatini looking for a man, checks it down. Gain of 8 there.
Definitely wanted to take that ball long, but really good job on the defensive secondary. The Bisons not letting anything in behind them. Spolatini waited, tried to let his receiver clear, but really good job from the DBs of the Bisons to stay with him. Ends up checking it down, gets a good gain on first down for about 6-7 yards. Setting up 2nd and 4 here from the Manitoba 52-yard line.
Spolatini, throw is complete there.
Nice job by the Calgary receiver here, Brighton, to make sure he's past the yards to gain stick. So when he catches that ball, even though he has to come back to it, it goes down still just past the line, able to get another first down for this Dinos offense as they start to roll into the Bison territory.
Yeah, you like to see that. Spolatini is doing a really good job on this drive, just seeing what the Bison's defense is going to give him, getting the ball out of his hands early and often, and moving the sticks for his team here. Let's see if he's able to do anything else with it. So we got good pressure up the middle from, I believe, Vinner Cox from the defensive tackle spot of the Bisons, resulting, forcing Spolatini to get that ball out of his hand a little bit sooner than he had liked to, resulting in an incomplete pass, setting up 2nd and 10. 1:28 remaining here in the 4th quarter.
Bison still sticking with a lot of their starters on the defensive side of the ball, staying in the game. I see Jack Schaefer's checked in the game, another member of that Vincent Massey squad that you were talking about before, Mike, playing at the defensive end spot. Former U18 player too, as well for Team Manitoba.
I'm hearing field goal getting yelled up from the Calgary Dinos bench, so it looks like we might see a 55-yard field goal attempt.
That is what it looks like. We're seeing them come on.
Well, this is going to be something special. If we can get a 55-yard field goal, that'll be some life for the Calgary. That's a good positive movement here for the Calgary Dinos offense. As, like I said earlier, this is probably their best drive of the second half. Let's see if they can come away with points. This is an absolute monster field goal, and there is a little bit of a wind, and it is in his face as he put the puck down on the 54. So we'll see if he can put this one through. I don't expect the Bisons to rush too much on this one.
This is another scary moment for special teams coordinators out there, because if this misses, there's going to be a good return here with the Dinos.
Oh, no.
Boy.
Well, if you can't even get the snap off.
Oh, goodness gracious. It's a little bit of soccer out here.
Adamopoulos. Well, that is, I mean, not much has gone good for the Calgary Dinos today, and that's kind of the exclamation point on this entire game and kind of the first half of their season, as that snap, I don't think ever got off the ground, rolled right through. Then Adamopoulos, I mean, kind of played soccer, as Mike alluded to there, as we're kind of kicking the ball back and forth between the two, and Adamopoulos ends up being able to fall on top of it, setting up the offense here. First and goal from the 9. I don't know. Well, they can't kneel the ball out because there's not enough time left on the clock. So we're going to get some offense here. But Ryan, wow.
We saw DeFonte do that last week for the Bisons. The only difference was he was on his own 15-yard line.
Not midfield.
When you're on about your 35-yard line or 40-yard line, it's going to be a tough boot for you to kick that out the back of your end zone. Don't love that play there by the Calgary kicker, Truambari. Tough one there, boy. First down, Bisons inside the 10.
Gentlemen, I hate to interrupt here, but once again, I've been digging through the galleries of the archives, and I have somehow found what I was looking for the entire fourth quarter. So don't mind if I do here. Net offense by an opponent. The least amount of yards Manitoba had given up in a game coming into this was 72. Okay. Now, entering the fourth quarter, Manitoba had only given up a total of 61 yards. That would have been a new record. Now, we'll have to wait for the stats. They certainly passed that here, and Calgary certainly passed that in the fourth quarter. But this is, without a doubt, gentlemen, going to be in the top 3 all-time in program history in terms of net yards allowed in a football game. So this defense has really come to play, and bear with me as I...
He's got the edge.
As Jackson Tuchinski hits pay dirt, and this Manitoba offense continues to find a rhythm, and certainly a confidence-building game for them all day long today.
Yeah, you love to see this for the Manitoba Bisons, who coming into the preseason polls are ranked 6th in the nation, number 2 in the conference. Ended up dropping their first 2 games of the season, dropping to 0-2. Were able to bounce back with a big win last week in the rain, and then come out today and just put their foot down and make an absolute statement victory against the Calgary Dinos. You like to see it as a Bisons fan. You love to see it as a football fan, seeing this team be able to bounce back. And it looks like we're going to be able to get them back to a 2-2 record, into a 3-way tie for 3rd place with the likes of Alberta and UBC, who they will be seeing once again in week 6 and 7 of the season coming up towards the end of the year.
And fellas, in terms of most rushing yards in a game, the record for the Bisons, 470 in 1995 against Alberta. However, this total, which was 256 entering the fourth, certainly going to be up into that 300-yard range, is absolutely going to crack into the top 10 all time for the program. So we'll give those numbers to you in the recap most likely, or the quickie stats here before we go off the air. Hopefully we can get those for you before we sign off here. But certainly on both sides of the ball, it's been a record day for Manitoba.
Didn't mean to cut you off there, Mike, but I believe that was the hat trick for Jackson. He had two short yardage quarterback runs there in the 3rd and 4th quarter respectively. And I believe that was his 3rd rushing touchdown of the game. So great performance there for Jackson Tuchinski, getting 3 rushing touchdowns. If Canada West had fantasy football, you wouldn't be a big fan of Des not being able to get those wedge touchdowns, but you love to see it as the Bison's offense was able to put up 46 points here on the Calgary defense.
As a former U18 coach, I got to give some more of my guys some love. Ishe Matanga checks in the game, gets a couple carries there. We saw Vaughn Lloyd earlier with a couple carries, and Caden Bannon was out there. He's been in their short yardage package all day. He's been getting more offensive reps as this 4th quarter starts winding down. And a special shout out to the former U18 manager, Jeffrey Bannon, who is celebrating his birthday today in Edmonton. And I'm sure he's watching this game in Edmonton on the stream, checking out his son in action.
Yeah, Jeffrey Bannon, a big member of the Manitoba football community. I had the pleasure of working with him for the Winnipeg High School Football League for a few seasons there. Just a class act. And KB, his son there, one of the nicest people you ever meet. Great to see him in action here. And when I was talking to Jeffrey earlier this year, he was very emotional. You know, he had to cut his own kid when he played the U16 level. To see where he's at now, really, really exciting stuff, especially for a father in that case.
Yeah, absolutely. That's got to be a tough position to have to cut your kid from a team. That'd be a really awkward car ride home from practice, that's for sure. But yeah, you love to see that KB now making some plays for the Bisons, getting into the rotation at a receiver position. You love to see it. Good ball there from Spolatini. He's waiting for his drag to come over the middle. Only result in a gain of 5 yards with 26 seconds. But you like to see the Calgary Dinos not give up here, not decide to nail it out, decide to keep running their offense, try to get a few more yards, try to build some confidence in that young group. We'll see what happens here with 24 and kicking coming left on the clock in the 4th quarter with this game well out of hand.
Last note with Jeffrey Bannon. the football community in Winnipeg misses you, Jeffrey, if you are listening. But he was such an integral part of everything we did in Winnipeg, from the grassroots level all the way up to the University of Manitoba. And he moved to take a better career opportunity. But we miss you, Jeffrey. You're a tremendous person. You did a great job with the kids in the city of Winnipeg's minor football system.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but former commissioner of the
Yes,
Winnipeg
he was
High
the
School
commissioner of
Football
the
League?
Winnipeg High School Football League while yours truly was handling communications. So it's unnecessary plug for the 0 people that care about that piece of information. But yes, Jeffrey was a spectacular commissioner. He is one of the reasons why the social media accounts were so popular over these last few years. Prior to him taking over, there was no Instagram account, and it's really bumping now. So
Love to
thank
see
you
it.
so much.
And they're on the last play of the game. Their Spolatini just taking what the defense gives them, throwing the underneath. Ding route. Manitoba Bison's completely content to give that up 42 points with no time left on the clock. Big victory for the Bisons to square them up at 2-2, getting them right back into the playoff race, right back into the thick of things of Canada West football.
Dominant win right from the beginning, right to the end. Unbelievable. We saw Braden Stubbs fumble the ball early in the game. We were kind of a little bit worried, a little bit anxious of what that might lead with the Calgary offense, but the defense rallied real quickly, supporting their guy, and we saw dominance from that point on throughout the rest of the game by this Bison team.
With that win, the Bisons improved to 2-2 on the year. They are tied now for third with the Alberta Golden Bears with a 2-2 record, as well as the I believe UBC as well at 2 and I could be wrong on that. Don't quote me. 2-2. So 3 teams tied at 2-2 there. Obviously, Alberta has the win over Manitoba this year. Bisons have beat UBC. So as usual in Canada West, going to come right down to the wire and for a playoff spot. Right now, those top 2 seeds still held by Saskatchewan at 4-0 and Regina at 3-1. Calgary falls to 0-4 on the year as they look to continue to just find some answers and rebuild here a little bit. Final thoughts on this one, both gentlemen.
I've been doing it all game, and I'm going to finish off the broadcast by doing it again, but definitely going to give a shout-out to the 7 offensive linemen from the Manitoba Bisons who were able to come in and pave the way for their running backs to get well over 300 yards on the ground. You absolutely love to see it. As a former center, I will not stop talking about that performance from them, but great performance from both Noah Anderson, Vaughn Lloyd, and Stubbsy on the ground. Good patient running. Love to see that from the Manitoba Bisons offense going into a really tough game next week against Saskatchewan.
Yeah, the Bisons dominated in all 3 phases of the game. Literally the bright spot all game long for the Calgary Dinos was the work of their punter McLean, who just kept bombing punts and trying to get them back some field position, but the team would quickly surrender that with offense and defense. It's like we said at the beginning of the broadcast, though. It's a young Calgary Dino squad. There's going to be some growing pains as they kind of learn how to win these games in this really tough conference going forward. And Bisons being 2-2 is so big. Actually, to correct you, Mike, the UBC Thunderbirds are 1-3 after starting the season with a big win against the Golden Bears. They've lost 3 in a row after losing last night to the Regina Rams at home. So crazy, the Bisons now jumping ahead of them as well. So the Bisons are securely in a playoff position halfway through the season and kind of determine their own fate coming down the home stretch with a game at UBC later in the season, a game at U of S later in the season. It's going to be a tough road to finish out the schedule, but the Bisons in a good spot halfway through, especially if you consider the fact they started the season 0-2.
Certainly some momentum here for the Bisons and a massive game against the U of S coming up. Thanks so much for joining us on the call. Enjoy the rest of your day, and before we sign out, best of luck to you.